Felicitations, my family of fledglings. And ghosts, it's so good to unsee you as well. Welcome to another time zone with yours truly, Disruptor Professional. Professional. I'm a disruptor. I break people's minds up in a little bit, and then I suck them up with a straw. Like there will be blood status. Ship! Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. The hair looks majestic with the waves. The waves are just there. That's just how it do. I did nothing with my hair today except live like an otaku because I worked all day indoors on a computer. It's really boring. But it's only about maybe half, a little more than half of where I want it to be. So yeah, it's hopefully gonna look more majestic. If it looks cringe or try hard or whatever, it's going. I'm gonna chop it entirely. So this is really like I'm gonna see how it do. If it looks cool, if people are like, damn, D, that's some cool hair, then I'll probably keep it. People look at me and they go, hey, you have cool hair. Or sorry, hey, you have long hair. ... I'll probably chop it. Also, for any of you, if you do not already follow and love upon Shep's channel, please do so, because you can't find a more badass chill streamer. Well, me, but then also Shep.
Badge? Really?
You are so brave for playing games like this.
Oh.
Ah.
Does someone want to clip?
It's such a... Yeah, oof. I don't envy you. I would toss my computer across the room if I could. I hate Celeste. Yeah. It do good at this stage? Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know, maybe if I absolutely hate it when it gets longer, I'll chop it back to this. I don't know. This doesn't feel like my goal yet. So when I stare at myself in the mirror like this, I'm like, it's not done. You know what I mean? I finished it and refused to get the strawberries and other sides of levels. Honestly, there's some games where I'm like, you know what? End was good enough for me. There's no platinuming. I don't care about the achievements. I don't care about any other pick this thing up or this many of that. Nope. Secret level? Nope. Not going back. That looks like one for sure. Yeah, there's always a phase with growing hair out that feels odd. Yeah, I think, you know, hair is one of those things that ultimately you have to love yourself when you look in the mirror. And I hate to say this, but for me, part of how I love myself does come from how others love me, and I can't turn that part off. I'd love to just get old, because I think old people do have that one secret power where they look at themselves in the mirror and they're just like, I'm better than everybody else in this world. And then they go outside and some people are like, you suck, you have old wrinkly skin, or you sag funny, or I hate the way you smell. And I'm like, I'm old and I don't care anything. I don't care a whit, an iota. How would old people say it? I don't care one iota what you tell me. I love me. My partner loves me. That's all I need. And yeah, it just they could give no fucks, and I do. So part of my perception is based on how other people see me. But that, I mean, I think there's maybe a little bit of good in that though too, because you also have some navigation sense outside of your own head, because we definitely can all either do one of two things: either love ourselves like we deserve a pedestal and a trophy and a statue of ourselves. I think that's a real problem, and I meet too many people like that. Or we self-deprecate ourselves into a nasty little hole, which is what I do. I love digging a hole all the way, like almost all the, my height minus neck, so that only my neck sticks out. and then I bury myself in that, and I say, this is as tall as I feel, and this is all that I deserve in life. And I should stop that. I took months long between Celeste rooms sometimes. I super don't blame you. Hey, that's the benefit of being a variety streamer. Hey, we're going to go back to this game because it does not kill me every 2 seconds like Celeste does. That's why I dye my hair. I should, yeah, it's been a long time since I have. I need to consider it, but I also have to be cautious at this period of my life about aesthetics. So, yeah. There's a shout about I haven't streamed in a bit. That's okay. You'll get there. Difficult to make the time with work. Yeah, I feel that. Wait, overtone. If you go for vivids, what's overtone mean? What is that word? It sounds like an awesome tool or good tip to follow, but I don't know what you mean. While I wait for that answer, tonight's topic is about multi-streaming. It is something, if you followed my channel at all before tonight, is near and dear to my heart. The concept that one person can live stream on more than one platform has been around for a while, but the fact that one person could choose to stream on multiple platforms at the same time, that's new-ish. It's less than 2 years old as sanctioned by the various platforms. If you were doing it before then, you were in a pioneer space pirate version of live streaming that I wasn't even privy to. But once it was sanctioned by the gods of the platforms, I hopped on the bandwagon. I've been multi-streaming since the beginning of 2024. Actually, I think since my very first stream of 2024, right after the new year, I've been multi-streaming. I've been adding streams to my streams. Yo, dog, I heard you like streams. So, well, you know. So I'm not on everything. I've found a number of platforms that I've never heard of before in my life, and some that I heard of, I don't know, like 20 years ago, that try to tell you that they want to do live streaming, like Facebook. Who's gonna watch me on Facebook? Well, I'm scared to find that out, so I'm not streaming on Facebook. I don't know anybody who streams on Facebook, but wow. Oh, it's that's a brand. Okay, Overtone. I'm gonna take a note. Where am I gonna take a note so I remember to do this? In my other brain. Do you all have another brain? Because I have another brain. Overtone for hair color. So I'm gonna call that one to remember. It's like a hair mask that goes on dry before washing. I bleached my hair and left it for 30 minutes. It's incredible. That's impressive. A hair mask. Did like something you put over top of your hair and just let it sit or something like that? Yeah, I'd be curious to see. Who? Hello, Mars. Another one of my favorite streamers on all of the entire internet. Please also show some love to Mars. Here's a shout out.
Spike down B.
Enemy spotted.
Get him. Get him, Mars. You haven't streamed for a very long time. That's okay.
Enemy removed.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Even if you haven't streamed for a while, I still want people to show your channel love. If you never come back to it, that's fine. If you do come back to it, then, you know, I want you to see, like, all the people who came since you last streamed. Many of them thanks to me for shouting you out, I hope. Found a random selfie, sent it to you to show how bright it turned out. Excellent. Coolin, hi and welcome. What's going on? Only 3 people? Only 3 people on your part of YouTube. I streamed 2 different streams on YouTube, so this could also just be the nature of which part of YouTube you're watching me from. I do stream on landscape, so if you're watching me on a laptop or a desktop computer and you like to see things in, you know, normal TV ratio, boom, I'm there. I also stream in vertical, so if you prefer watching lives on YouTube Shorts, I show up there as well. So I have 2 different streams. It bifurcates. Yeah, this is multi-platform streaming. My YouTube bifurcates me into those 2 different areas, and it feeds me to 2 different algorithms. So I actually get watched by two sort of different demographics on YouTube based on just how you like to watch the platform in the first place. And I think it does send me to different sorts of communities too as a result. So sort of diversifies things. But we're also streaming live on Twitch, on Kick, on Instagram, and on Trovo, all at the same time. Yes, indeed. Okay. Sorry, let me catch up with everybody here. Been busy with work. I'm a teacher now. Hell yeah. Shape those minds. Maybe you can start live streaming your classes. I want to sit in on a Mars class. That means you could be potentially streaming in summer. Hey, there you go. Never stream on TikTok. It's a freak show. I'm a very like challenge accepting sort of person. I like having people try to like haze and like tug at me and see how I do. And I kind of want to throw myself in the dumpster fire and just see how well I burn, if that makes sense. I might try it out. I still don't have the metrics to do it because ever since the great TikTok deluge, it's a lot harder for a new person to get started there. You could tell, sorry, TikTok, you had a great run, but you can tell when a platform like TikTok is suffering so I'm on T-Mobile, and there's an app that gives you like discount codes and freebies and little like promotionals. People have to pay, to put their companies there. It's like, oh, Little Caesar will give you like free breadsticks with the purchase of a medium pizza courtesy of T-Mobile. It's all kind of janky and cheesy, but if you're already going to shop at these places, hey, it's nice to get like a little bit of a discount here and there. TikTok is on that list. TikTok is like, please come to our platform. We'll give you free Disney bucks. They have like free TikTok money that you can't buy anything real with it, but you can buy TikTok digital things with it. And like, we'll give you free money if you come to our platform. If you come back, we'll give you free money if you recommend people. They actually will pay you to recommend people. Not real money again, but caveat. You get TikTok money, you get TikTok bucks, and they expire. So if you recommend somebody, you're like, oh, sweet, $5 of TikTok dollars. And then you forget about it for a month or so. They just empty your wallet because they're like, oh, who cares? We got what we wanted. I feel so bad for them. But I also don't feel bad because at the beginning of this year, what did they do? They're like, we've been shut down by the government, but President Trump is working on it. And then the very next day, President Trump has brought us back. You drew your lines, TikTok. You know how polarizing a move like that is to make that an announcement on your stupid platform. Man, and now you're advertising on T-Mobile. Please come back. Facebook Live seems an odd choice too. That one's weird. I might try TikTok, but I don't know about Facebook. The demographic that still lives on Facebook, that still hangs out on Facebook, that's a little bit yikesy for me. I super don't think that that's a smart business move. I feel like I'll be fielding too much of the worst part of the internet, to be perfectly honest. The only people who are still on Facebook are people who make a social media account once, and then when the world moves on, they're like, well, I already made a social media account. I made one on Facebook. I'm done. I'm done with social media. This is the last one I will ever make. And that takes a certain type of personality to make that decision. That's like somebody deciding MySpace is it. I made my MySpace exactly how I like it. I don't know what Facebook is, but sticking with MySpace. Colin says, I don't think TikTok would be a good idea. Maybe not. Maybe I'll do some like research. I'll spy on some other people who are on the platform, see how their chat goes and stuff like that. If it really is like yikesy right now, maybe it's not the best spot for me. Oop, it's me. Oh, you're on Facebook? Like on it? I mean, show of hands, probably. I mean, you don't have to show your hands, but like, think about this. We probably all have a Facebook, right? Like literally everybody's listening to this right now probably has one. And, maybe you post to it so that your family can see you. maybe that's the only way like a certain grandma or aunt ever communicates with anybody at all. And so like you kind of do it by coercion, like familial coercion. If you're not there, then you lose that family connection. But I don't think anybody here, and I'm sorry if I'm calling somebody out if this is you, I don't think anybody here like goes there and like scrolls Facebook as like, you know what? Out of all the media, social media choices I have, I really want to see what my Facebook feed says right now. Do you want to know what my Facebook feed says right now? Like barely covered, very chesty content creators just aching for a follow in the hopes that you're so thirsty and you don't know how to search for anything spicier than them that you'll watch their fully censored but thirst trap content. And lots of clickbait stories that half of them seem like they're AI. How many videos do you all get of animal rescues? Because I seem to get those everywhere, and I've probably seen 50 variations of the same. I found an abandoned baby bunny in the dirt or in the mud or caught somewhere, and I pulled it out and I nursed it to health. And it lives with me, and it is now my bunny. And I'm pals with the bunny now. And I'm a good human because I helped an animal. And they all have the same AI voice, and they all have one of like 3 to 5 different backing audio tracks. So I really know it's like the same content farm pulling the shit. Oh, yeah. I'm on a lot of pages that have a good mindset. Okay. All right. I'll give it that. You must be seeing a different part of the platform than I'm on. I do scroll Facebook. I'm in many, many groups. I watch a lot of therapist or tea reading vids. I block the people that are ass. Maybe that's on me, you know. It could very well be that I have spent so much time making media and not on that particular platform that I don't curate it, right? So it looks at me like a brand new user, and it's like all of our brand new users like big chested girls and animal rescues, and so you should too. And I'm just not like curating the experience for anything higher mindset. Could just be. That could just be. But it also makes me wonder how many of those content creators are also in other places and they just multi-post. If you've seen any of my most recent shorts that I made like a big sprint a couple months ago where I just did like short, like one a day for a while until I ran out of time because day job got in my way too, frankly. But those, whatever platform you happen to see them on, and they're on Facebook of all platforms. They're even on Facebook. I post those on other platforms too, so that, you know, if you really hate Facebook, don't worry, you can still see those videos. They're somewhere else too. Yeah, I think Facebook is more usable to connect with family, and that's it. I'd rather pick YouTube or Twitch, not gonna lie. If we're talking about live streaming, I think Twitch still has the inside track. I think YouTube's catching up, but I think so Twitch recently released 2K, and I was gonna make this announcement, but I decided to not, because if it failed, then I could blame it. But I didn't want to like bring people in on the premise that this was gonna work. I'm actually live streaming right now on Twitch in 2K. And in that, I think that means because I switched all of my broadcast software settings, and YouTube is just like uses the Twitch settings too. That means I believe that YouTube is also able to stream in 2K right now as well. I was partnership to a beta. I shouldn't say was, am. Twitch is in beta for 2K streams. There are 4K streams too, but you basically have to be partner, and I'm not there yet with Twitch. But 2K is kind of like rolling out to a subset of different content creators. I applied, I was accepted, and so that is happening. Now, I don't have anything set up as far as like input sources that show up as high quality as 2K. So I'm curious if it upscales me or if it just keeps me at the same resolution or what. I might make some changes to that. I do have a camera that I'm not using right now that we use for other things as well, but I think it can stream in 4K. I have to double check it, see what I can do with that. I also don't want it to like overheat because I do 5-hour streams some nights. But I'm curious to see how that works out. And that means that it's in the inside track competing with YouTube. Previously, YouTube's one thing over Twitch was that the video quality was going to be better. But YouTube does still have the rewind your live playback, and Twitch is still missing that feature, which I think, yeah, every other streaming platform is less than those two. They all have their own little gimmicks and their own little reasons to exist. And it's a Troa, speaking of existing, and a reason to exist. One of my reasons to exist is to enjoy Troa's friendships, and thank you for being here. Oh, Mars, I'll support you on TikTok whenever. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like your TikTok content. I wasted all my TikTok bucks supporting another small streamer, but totally worth it. At least it made them happy. That's very sweet. I don't know why I missed those messages. Sorry. Maybe you should train your algorithm first. Oh, for Facebook? Yeah, I'm probably talking out, what the vanilla Facebook experience is like, and that's probably not fair to them. I apologize. I take it back. Damien, did anyone tell you you're rocking that hairstyle? That's 2 people now tonight. I don't know. See, I look at it and it's not where I want it to be, but I appreciate that it is where some people like it. So thanks. Thank you for the compliments. I will keep growing it out and keep seeing what it looks like as it gets longer. For right now, I will try to accept your compliments with grace. It's hard for me to accept a compliment when I don't see it in myself, but if enough people keep telling me that they like my hair like this, maybe I'll accept it. Why is it so warm in here? I'm dying. I'm actually dying. I'm adjusting my thermostat right now. I know it looks like I'm staring down. My thermostat's in my hand because I use a nap. Should play a Nirvana music in the background. Here's the thing. DMCA strikes, my dude. It's fine on Twitch, and I have it set up so that Twitch blocks out the music and the VOD, so I don't get DMCA'd there. But YouTube's really finicky about that kind of stuff. My block list is fairly large because I will block people who post to the groups that don't follow the rules or post shit I hate. And the algorithm's pretty good with that. Like, it kind of does it help you navigate forward with other people so you're not like constantly blocking, or do you have to like regularly block? I block Facebook Live notifications and story notifications. I hate them. If I'm gonna watch a live video, it's Twitch. Oh, there you go. See? So maybe the Facebook Live is really not the thing. You are showing us playing in 2K? Yeah, that feels good. I guess something's working right. I'm also like staring at all of my widgets. So I have like my baud rate here, my drop frame rate here, timer, CPU, frames per second. Like I'm trying to like monitor everything. So I'm doing a lot of like eye ping ponging right now just to make sure everything's like gonna play right and be kind on the app. Plus, as you know, with the multi-streaming thing happening at the same time, I am doing like 2 different canvases at the same time. So I've got the landscape canvas and the vertical canvas, and they're going to... Vertical canvas goes to 2 streams. Horizontal canvas goes to 4 streams. Yeah, and so there's just a lot going on. In fact, right now, Kick is freaking out. And I hope that that's not indicative of something else happening that's gonna kill somewhere else. But yeah, Kick's having a hard time. Yeah, the effects happen. So I have 2 different classifications of audience that watches the show. Fledglings are what I call everybody who's just here, and you're part of the flock of my people. You're the people that hang out. And then there is a legacy title for folks that have been around since 2014, and I think I cut that off at the end of 2023. And those are the ghosts, and the ghosts get their own like special perks. You can get perks from like subs and memberships and that kind of stuff too, but ghosts get special perks just for being ghosts because they found me as a thing, as a brand. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here all this time. The sewer is the most lit place on Twitch. Wait, what? What is that? Oh, on Facebook? What does that even mean? Oh, like it. Actually, I don't know. I was trying to guess what that means. I'm not quite sure what that means. Hey, Kara, just joining in. Is there something specific that this discourse is in response to? Several things, actually. So let's recap on what happened, and then I'll catch up with the rest of chat here. This last week, hundreds of Twitch content creators, maybe more, but I only know about hundreds, have reported that part of their About Me section or their profile somewhere has been altered on their behalf by Twitch, and they've been issued an official warning. And Twitch has stepped in and said, you are violating spam guidelines in our company or our content guidelines. And people are very confused, and they're looking at their About Me section or profile and wondering why is there something here being edited? And when it says in the report where the violation took place, it says in that area. Some folks have done some sleuthing and figured out that the vast majority of these people, if not all of them, are getting reported or getting a warning for having a link to a Kick website URL and encouraging people to go there as part of a multi-stream endeavor. In other words, it's a simulcast that's also happening on Kick, and they show that Kick URL in their details. And then, so why the spam? Why are they getting charged with spam? Well, I did some research myself today on that, and it looks like there's no Twitch official policy. Hello. Welcome, Risa. There's no official policy on why Twitch would hate Kick or how they could like nail you for promoting Kick. But there's sort of some subtle parts of TOS that do say, you know, Twitch has to be like the highest recommended, and they can't be like you can't encourage your fans to go over and see your stream in another place. You always want to put Twitch as it's like the jealous God thing from, you know, Old Testament Bible. It's like there shall be no other streaming platforms before me. They're not saying you can't multi-stream, but they're saying we must be the highest of your idols. Something like that. And it's probably somewhere in there that they're trying to nail people on this clause. But they don't have the reporting structure for it yet. So I think they're using spamming as the reporting structure to nail all of these people. And guess what? It's making people really pissed off because nobody thinks I like Twitch more because of this. Nobody thinks I want to double down on Twitch when they pull shit like this. And nobody really feels like Twitch is the place to be when Twitch feels like they have to threaten you off of other platforms or off of talking about other platforms. It feels like a real bad PR move, like a really big misstep. On top of that, Nutty has been suspended/banned from Twitch for 1 day. It's not a lot, but banned for 1 day. And he believes it was because he was creating a widget that was helping him, or creating creating infrastructure to help him multi-stream onto TikTok, because that's been problematic for a lot of people. And in his widget creating, he was also testing something with donos. So he asked some people to try some test donos in TikTok. And I think that counted as some form of you're promoting another god higher than Twitch. And Twitch stepped in and said you're banned, and didn't really say why. Because, again, their banning infrastructure is pretty nebulous as to what's actually going on. So his best guess was something with TikTok, which just means Twitch has been real jealous lately. It's been really weird. And for those of us who multi-stream that would love to stay on Twitch because we feel like Twitch has some merit in the streaming world, which I do, I still do, even though they're being super cringe about it right now. It does give us pause and make us wonder, you know, should multi-streaming really be the thing? What's going on? Do platforms have the right to levy this kind of power over everybody? Should people just focus on one platform and call that the exclusive? Like, hey, my name's Damien Hallman. You can only find me on blah, blah, blah.com/Damien Hallman. That's the one place, you know, for all your one your one-stop destination. I don't even know how to call it that because I've been multi-streaming for so long. Your one-stop shop for everything me, something like that. And yeah, maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what they want. I'm so glad that Kara's message is working correctly now. Grow that beautiful hair and wear some Viking leather wristbands. As somebody who comes...
Oh. He's definitely not a gas either. No, he's a liquid.
It's a liquid.
It can't be. Don't tell me. Damn it. It all makes sense now. His references to consumable beverage safety tips. His liquidity. The drink.
Hello. So I think I responded to your post, unless you posted something new. But I saw all of the really cool, what's the word I'm looking for? All of the autographs that you've been gathering. It's good stuff, man. Okay. So also love you. Oh, love your face too. Okay. So here's the thing about Vikings and leather and all that kind of stuff. Because my family is Finnish by descent, we sort of have this weirdness about Vikings. They sort of, you know, came in and conquered and stormed and violated and did a bunch of awful things to their neighbors. And Finland is a neighbor to Vikings, not necessarily Vikings themselves. I have done some research, though, and apparently my not fear, but my prejudice against Vikings. Luckily, I haven't met too many Vikings in my life. Just descendants of them. It might be unjustified. It could have been, based on some evidence archaeologically, that the Vikings and the Finns were actually like, they did okay. Finns somehow, I don't know, by the cool nature. Maybe we shared the power of the sauna. Maybe we taught them how to play death metal. But for some reason or another, maybe the Vikings kind of didn't go so hard on the Finns as I thought. And it was like other people's that they're like, okay, well, these folks are cool, but everyone else are going to pillage and raise. Yeah. Guys, quick, tell him his hair is glorious. Shep, stop. I don't stream TikTok anymore because it's eating up my RAM space. Wait, your RAM? What RAM? I block often, but it's slimmed down after I got rid of the biggest problematic people. It's generally the same ones within the groups. Gotcha. So you block them, then it's kind of good for a while then. The hair is definitely hairing now. You're past the awkward stage. I don't know. I feel like I'm in awkward. But if you all say I'm past it, it's hard for me to, yeah. Got a lurk. It was good to see you again. Thank you so much for the lurk. Again, please show Shep some, it's hard to say fast. Show Shep some love on her profile on Twitch, if you would be so kind. Thank you very much. And thanks for the lurk support. I hope you and Moreland are doing great this summer so far. Oh, it's not quite summer. This almost summertime. A quick Google search says that Twitch is enforcing the rules more lately. You could call it that. We can go over the terms of service and see exactly what rules they are talking about as far as having a kick profile link. It's kind of nebulous from what I saw. We can pull it up. I'm going to be a distraction fellow for a bit, doing the job things and stuffs. Sounds good. Good luck. I hear it's nightmarish these days. If I remember correctly, you weren't allowed to direct people to other platforms, that you weren't allowed to display a multi-chat on your screen, but prior to this, it wasn't really enforced. I still don't know anybody who does multi-chat that has talked about getting punishment for that. Just saying. So far, that one still seems okay. The one above all forums. Oh, never mind. That's Astrobumbot. Why do I always feel like I want to read Weeha's Astrobumbot intro? Twitch is pretty much the only platform people use for live game streams, except for YouTube, Kick, and Trovo. I will say I'm on Instagram, and it is not the place for live streaming games. It really isn't. However, there are pretty damn big communities in the other three that are not Twitch that I mentioned. Yeah. They ban channels without reason. You can't get it appealed unless you have a huge following and get a lot of attention. I feel like there are some really massive streamers that are now on YouTube that used to be on Twitch or do both. A good majority of people who can are on both. And as far as Kick goes, I will say I know of at least 2 big names that are on Kick, but I know that Kick pays them to be there. So I'm not going to say that that's necessarily the same thing as Kick equals success, if you know what I mean. What Kick does right now, though, is they take some of their money that I presume they're earning from their gambling stuff, and they do pay out really, really nice percentages. So if you do the sub thing on Kick, which I do have subs enabled on Kick, as a matter of fact, I made it to that milestone. I get the content creator gets a higher percentage than both YouTube and Twitch offer. So having more money go to you and less go to the platform you're on feels nice, as long as they're willing to continue to subsidize that for their own growth, which is what I think is happening. It's not like a permanent thing. It feels like a promotional thing. Yeah, that's what it feels like. There's some new ones. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. I'm so happy to be at this camp. I'm doing a combo camp. Takedown guys just left. Pinfall just got here. What combo camp? What does that mean? Like you're learning how to like combo like one move or one lock into something else? If you download the TikTok Studio to live stream, it consumes RAM space, so it's hard to multi-stream. Oh, gotcha. Wasn't Nutty recently? Maybe, I don't know if you know who Nutty is, Mars. He's an Australian content creator that does a lot of things for like OBS and bots and stuff. I think he was recently working on a live stream like in the last 2 weeks to try to get TikTok to work better and not have to use TikTok Studio. I live stream on Twitch, then I send my clips or edited moment clips in TikTok. I think it's probably the preferred method. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people do it that way. Yeah. I would never think to use YouTube for live gaming. I go to YouTube when I watch VODs. I think maybe historically that was the case, but YouTube's spending a lot of money and pushing a lot of algorithm to try to get more live views out there. And so I think, they're really trying to compete with TikTok by promoting shorts over long forms. And I think they're trying to compete with Twitch by promoting lives over VODs. We'll see how it do, because they've historically been the VOD place. And when I live stream there, my VODs actually last forever, where when I live stream on YouTube and Kick, the clips or the VODs disappear unless I force them to stay, which is I'd rather not, because there's like a limited storage space as well, whereas YouTube's storage is unlimited. Twitch eventually starts there's a quota, which I'm not really pleased about. Yeah, TikTok's great for promoting Twitch. I need to be on it more, but I need to be able to pay for my bills, and that means working a job that's not doing content creation until I can pay for the bills with content creation. But I need to grow content creation by promoting all the time so that I can quit my day job. You see the catch-22 here? I'm stuck in a weird spot, but once I figure out how to get over this hump, then yeah, you'll see a lot more of me. They should just ban everyone who ever thought about wanting to reach a larger audience. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, how dare they? There's a takedown camp to learn takedowns, a pinfall camp to learn pins. Oh, nice. I'm doing both, so I get an extra session in between, and it's called combo. Sweet. That's awesome. Just, soak it all in, man. Big thing is, I don't know how you take notes or, how you memorize this kind of stuff, or do you take video or whatever, but, try to make sure you get as much of this stuff home with you. I think one of the hardest parts, one of the things that people claim is sort of tricky about workshops, is that they can give you so much knowledge in such a short period of time, and it feels very enriching. And in a year or two, it can be hard to re-access everything you've grabbed in that moment. So it feels like it's a lot of good in the experience, and then it's really a challenge to convert that to long-term full memory, full able to access when you need it sort of stuff. So yeah, it's super important for you to have a good system there. Do all of the above, notes, vids, and memory. Good stuff. All right, good to know. Yeah, I want to be able to continue to live stream in multiple platforms. I think it feels like a good thing to do. What a lot of people do this for is to grow their audience more and try to get more revenue. My revenue is really just two big sources, and I think it's important to be transparent about that. I don't think enough small creators talk about this kind of stuff, because if you're thinking you'd ever want to stream, or you are my size or smaller, or if you're bigger and you just want to like listen in to see how you can help, well, I could tell you how you can help help me grow. The small streamer game really needs to be talked about more often. We need to share more about what we do and what we're experiencing with each other, so that expectations can be set and we all sort of know like what's going on, where it's going well and where it's not going well. And for me, the two big sources of revenue I have and the two big sources of growth that I have really are on Twitch and YouTube, and they play differently with each other. The Twitch main source of income is active, i.e. people who have the means, who decide that they will contribute their means, whether that is that they have their monthly Prime membership, which in my opinion is a means, because if you can afford to subscribe to Amazon Prime, then giving that sub is not like a free thing. They call it like a free perk that you get. You can pass that sub off every month, but you know, it's not you. If you stopped paying for your Amazon Prime sub, you wouldn't be able to do that anymore, right? And all the other subs and donos and gifts and other things that come through, that's like active. Everything's like actively pushing through. Twitch does generate ad revenue, but the ad share that I don't know if it's that they sell ad spots for less than YouTube, or like what the deal is there, but ad revenue on Twitch, it pays, you know, there's some money, but the vast majority of the money, it really is active participation. YouTube's the other way around. The YouTube active participation portion of the platform, it exists, but it's not culturally endemic to the platform. So I feel like more people are just willing to pop into a stream and watch for free and then pop out whenever they're done watching, and they don't really think about contributing. Or maybe just the YouTube demographic, they don't have the means, which I get because I'm that way too. So I'm not shaming anybody if you don't. I'm there with you, as a matter of fact. You know, I'd love to contribute to other streamers and promote other people's brands with my cold hard cash, if I had that cash to deliver to other people. So the YouTube side of things, it really is about, you know, ad revenue. And that's the lovely thing about having VODs that don't disappear, is that they're really there for review, for rewatching, for, you know, grabbing a clip of and reposting content from somebody else's channel. All that stuff sort of pays into ad revenue, which is passive, and in my opinion, the cooler of the two ways to earn money. Because is somebody paying me that money when I get a YouTube payout? Yeah, but it's like big companies. It's big companies who put their ads out on long campaigns, and I get a little CPM % revenue when one of their ads crosses my viewers. And so I'm taking money from large companies that can afford to pay for advertising, instead of from individuals that can, you know, drop little gifts and bits and donos and stuff and subs here and there. It feels nicer at the end of the day. I appreciate both, and they both help me grow and try to turn this into a business, but the latter is just a little bit nicer. And so outside of those two, I don't really have much other reason to talk about revenue. But what that means, as far as like growing and doing the multi-stream thing, is that I'm not trying to get into multi-streaming to have a bigger audience and a bigger impact on me for popularity or revenue per se. But the sort of thing excuse me, the sort of things that we talk about that are philosophical, deeper dives, sometimes controversial, get into arguments or debates. Let's not say arguments. And we just sort of challenge each other's mindsets and share experiences at a greater, richer level. For that reason, I wouldn't want to leave any of the platforms that I'm on, because gathering bits and pieces from other people's chats and like learning about them, hearing different perspectives, every single platform really does curate its own like sub community. Now, are there people that are on all these platforms and scroll them all? Sure. But I would say the vast majority of platforms really are starting to enclave up a bit, or like not echo chamber, but they're starting to create their own like sort of sub communities or sub vibes to them. And so the longer you spend in one platform, the more like that platform's culture starts to affect you, and you're that sort of person, the sort of person that spends most of their time on Twitch or most of their time on Kick or whatever. They're like different feels and vibes, and I think that we benefit, that my vision benefits from us experiencing all of those types of people at the rate in which they'll eventually all get here, and be able to sort of understand different perspectives and paradigms, compare, contrast, or, you know, when somebody's like really off base from your own thoughts, to try to do our best job to think about why they think the way they do. I would never want to be the platform that would be accused of giving space or platforming bad ideas or violent, hateful, increasing suffering types of people. But I also want to understand them better and better. I want to know where they're coming from. I want to know, what have they read? What have they watched? What do they believe? What have they learned from their experiences or from their parents? Why are they going in a certain route versus so many of the rest of us? And then criticize their ideas. So nobody's safe here. Nobody gets a safe space here to have me like milk toast nod to whatever awful things people want to say. I'll violently disagree with you if I think you're an awful person, but I'm still curious to like learn about you, you know? And so that's why I really want to keep multi-streaming alive and well in my own community. And I hope Twitch backs off its nuts. Coolest dude I met was Wyatt Hendrickson. If you've got just a quick second that you could look him up real fast, I'll type his comments in the chat. Let's take a look. Let us pull this up. I was going to switch to this screen anyway, and it's already got a browser sourced on top, so I can do a quick search here. Wyatt Hendrickson. American wrestler, competed collegiate wrestling for the Air Force Falcons and Oklahoma State Cowboys. I think I've already looked this guy up earlier. But on stream, so everybody else knows who the heck that you have met. That's really awesome. Heavyweight won the 2025 NCAA National Championship. That must have been just earlier this year. And defeated Gable Steveson in a major upset. Nice. Good stuff. Kansas Air Force, compiled record of 16-5, qualified for the NCAA championships. And he currently holds the rank of second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force. Nice. I'm only going to be up for like 30 minutes. This convo available to join on Discord? Yeah, let's pop you in. Why don't you join my Discord and I'll pull you into the room for reasons that happened on another live stream. All right. Hello.
What happened on the other live stream? What happened?
Don't worry about it. We have this room. Is the answer. We have this room.
All right, good to know. But I'm gonna have to be quiet because I do have, well, I don't have roommates, which is a whole another thing. But I'm staying in like the OSU dorms.
Okay. So got to
Um,
be courteous.
Yes. But this camp has been absolutely like fucking insane. It has been the best thing that I have done in a while, maybe ever. Like meeting freaking Zohair. I probably butchered that name, but still, Coach Zoe is what we call him. I met Diego Lopez. I met freaking Zahid Valencia, which I don't think you've looked that guy up. You should look him up too,
Okay.
just in case you haven't.
What's his name?
Zahid Valencia, Zahid Valencia.
Yeah, they corrected me. Good. American freestyle wrestler, graduated folk style wrestler who competes at 86 kilograms in freestyle. He was 2023 World Championship medal at 92 kilograms. Is a two-time U.S. national and Pan American champion. It's a folk style wrestler. What's folk style mean?
So there's 3 different styles of wrestling. There's 2 Olympic styles, which is freestyle and Greco-Roman. Freestyle is you can lock anywhere, basically. And instead of like going into a referee's position, you go into parterre and you're not allowed to escape. You're allowed to stand pretty much and wrestle, but you're not actually allowed to escape position. That's a point away. That's a caution.
Interesting.
And Greco-Roman, you're not allowed to touch the legs at all.
Interesting.
So it's all upper body, so it's a lot of throws and slams.
Yeah.
Folk style is the American style, because we're the only country who has it. And that's where you get up and all this other stuff. Something I've noticed for a lot of folk style though is the way they'll do it is it'll be 3 rounds with no breaks in between.
Mm-hmm.
And for certain freestyle events, it'll be 2 rounds with a break in between. Now, if you're in the Olympics, you get no breaks, and it's 3 rounds. If I remember correctly. But yeah, folk style is the American style.
Gotcha.
That's how you should remember it.
Good stuff.
Now, another thing I'll mention is that it's hot as Satan's left nutsack in this place.
So, it would be great if you could just chill in AC and not have to do anything. But I imagine you're all working up a sweat.
For sure. And even worse, thank God this is a camp. Because if I was like on the OSU team, which by the way, I would be out of my mind with it like enjoying. But they don't turn the AC on. And their wrestling room, so like Gallagher IBA Arena is like where they host their wrestling events.
Uh-huh.
But their actual wrestling room is like the size of like a medium-sized apartment.
Wow.
And it's closed off entirely.
Wow.
And from what I've heard, they do it with no AC on.
That's brutal.
Like purposefully.
That feels like some Navy SEAL type stuff going on there.
I know.
Like, how do we mentally break you while you're doing this training?
And that's the point, is they want to make you as tired and sweaty as possible, because that's what's going to happen in a match.
Sure. True.
Yeah. Sorry to hijack the topic. It's just, A, wrestling's one of the only things I do anyway, and B, I'm in fucking Oklahoma right now.
Yeah, this is one of your this is once in a lifetime chance for you.
Exactly. This is the chance. I've never done anything like this before. And I met Diego Lopez, who is not a wrestler. He's a UFC fighter from Brazil.
Okay.
He just happened to show up.
He's just like, oh, this is awesome. I want to meet all these great people.
Pretty much, man. He just showed up, took pictures. I got him to sign my shoes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Right. I am having the best experience. Like, whenever you check Discord or whenever you do, there's going to be a lot of cool signatures you're going to see. It's just going to be great. It's going to be great.
Good. Hey, that's what Pride is for. There's a sin for
sure.
everyone. And this is definitely your Pride moment.
For sure. I mean, I got Wyatt Hendrickson's signature on my shoes. I got Zahid Valencia. I got Coach O'Hare. I got David fucking Taylor. And I got Dean Hamidi Jr., who won Final X.
That's
this
fantastic.
Yeah. And I got my shirt signed by Gary Trout, who, I mean, doesn't have the same crazy stats as anybody else, but he's just a cool dude. He was an NCAA qualifier in 2020 and got placed number 19th seed.
Wow.
Which isn't that good, but it's alright.
I mean, you got a lot of talent around you. So I imagine this is the time in your life where you get to learn amazing stuff.
For sure.
And hopefully
Best
make
thing
some
I
great
learned
networking
so
connections
far.
too.
Yes. David Taylor is so incredibly nice, but he also understands, like, I heard him talking to Wyatt Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Just because we were near the, like, operating table wrestling, me and my partner. And you could hear David Taylor tell Wyatt, look, we're teaching the moves, but the thing they're going to remember the most is how you interact with them. So make sure you just be yourself, put a whole bunch of energy and all that. Like, these are genuinely great people who understand how to run things like this.
Yeah. Sounds like it. It sounds like the best this could possibly be.
Yes. This is the event. Like, it's incredible.
It's really awesome. I'm really excited that you're there.
Oh, trust me. Me too. These shoes are getting retired when I get home. They're going straight on the shelf.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better not wash those.
Oh, yeah. No, they're staying.
Nice.
I've been getting my butt eviscerated by these top-notch guys, because something to understand is, like, I'm pretty decent, but I've also only been wrestling 10 months now.
Wow.
I met a dude that was a 14-year wrestler. The man's been wrestling since he was 3.
It's crazy to think.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. It's just wild. And these people whooped my ass. Now, don't get me wrong. I put up a fight. But they whooped my ass.
Yeah, I've never done anything for that long, I think.
Yeah.
14 years.
Besides breathe.
Yeah, I guess I've breathed that long.
At least I would hope so. Anyway.
I don't think I took any years off. Pretty sure.
Something I didn't really think about though is with people coming from all over the nation. So I live in Tornado Alley.
Right.
In Oklahoma, I think is in Tornado Alley.
Sounds right.
But there are people coming from like California, Washington, right? Farthest away I met was Washington. And I mean, these guys coming in and they've never been under a tornado warning before, right?
Oh no.
And so we get put under a tornado warning, which, as I'm sure you know, means that they're making sure that a tornado isn't forming.
Sure.
This is the perfect conducive. A tornado watch is saying, hey, we've got weather that could indicate. And a tornado warning is saying, hey, we've got some bad weather that
Yeah.
is more than likely going to indicate
Yeah.
be ready. Right?
Right.
But at the same time, that's not saying there is a tornado.
Right.
And in a city like Stillwater, where there's a lot of tall buildings, it's going to wreak some havoc, but it's going to dissipate very quickly.
Sure. It's got a lot of
Right.
things to hit. Yeah.
So I got locked out of my room because the door auto locks.
Hmm.
Because there were people in the hallway screaming, "Tornado! Tornado!" like screaming like it was right outside. And I'm like, oh shit, did I miss something? So I blitz outside. I don't have my shoes. I'm lucky I even had my phone. And I did not have my key. So I just run out to the basement. Just to figure out it was because we were under a damn tornado warning.
Oh no.
Like, it makes me angry. Like, these fucking dumbasses, man. I can't handle it. It's stupidity. And here's the thing. Wrestlers are not known to be smart.
No,
But
I suppose
holy-
not.
Holy, man.
Well, it's everybody's first time once.
Yeah.
Hopefully now they'll know. Or maybe they'll forget because they won't need it in Washington State.
Yeah, maybe. Something that is also kind of cool is I've been gone a lot, and because I'm the person I am, I talk to people pretty
Sure.
often,
Sure.
which means that I reach out to people a lot, so they don't really reach out to me to conversate. And now I've been gone, I've just kind of gotten a reminder that people actually enjoy talking to me because I've gotten so many texts. When are you gonna be back? When are you gonna be back?
Oh,
We're missing you at practice. That's been a cool thing too.
that's very sweet.
Mhm.
Also, hi Riel. What is multi-streaming? Are you trolling me or are you being serious? I'm just curious. Because if you're trolling, we can have fun. But you know, if that's a serious question, we can talk about that too.
Cool. Another thing, real fast, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead.
There's this massive wrestling YouTube dude
Mhm.
named Caden Henschel.
Okay.
He was a D2 collegiate athlete, #1 D2 wrestler in the country. And he showed up. And I missed him because I was helping my partner pack up and leave because he had the... So my roommate, I helped pack up and leave because he had the flu. I'm on, is it Tamiflu or I'm on some sort of flu medication right now, not because I have it, but because it takes symptoms a while to present, and it's highly contagious, as you know.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
I'm
trying to be
taking
preventative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you stay hearty and hale and finish out with this strong. How much more time do you have
Yeah.
for this particular workshop?
So I will be back. I check out at 12 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay. Cool.
Rio has a question, by the way.
I've never heard of this term before. I'd be happy to elucidate. Multi-streaming is what somebody, yours truly included, does when they live stream on multiple channels like Twitch and YouTube and Kick and other places that you've probably heard of, Instagram, and does that all at the same time. So 2 years ago, you might have found somebody who was trying out YouTube streaming. And so they would stream on Twitch some days, YouTube other days. But as of 2024, they made it legal in most of the big platforms for you to stream at the same time if you figured out how to do so with your streaming software and all that sort of stuff. So, for example, the stream that you're watching right now on Twitch, you could also be watching on another platform or instead on another platform if that was your preference. Yeah. It's just streaming on multiple platforms, so why wouldn't it be allowed? So it gets complicated. And was there anything else you wanted to mention? Because it kind of gets into the weeds a little bit with the topic. I just didn't want to step on anything else you wanted to say about about wrestling and all that.
Is there anything else I want to say about wrestling?
Yeah, because I was just about to go deep into the rabbit hole about explaining why people wouldn't want why
I guess
it would be allowed.
I guess real fast I'll say like some cons, and then I'll finish it off with some of my favorites. Just real quick, I'll rapid fire you.
Sure.
So my biggest complaint is that I don't have enough time to sleep.
Oh.
Room check is at 10:30, and they require you to be awake. That way you can go and open the door and confirm that you're there. We wake up at 6 in the morning. As you may be able to guess, that is now. I don't sleep a lot, but whenever you're wrestling, 9 hours a day, right? 8 hours and 30 minutes a day.
That's gotta
Right.
tire you out.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I get I get to the dorm, and I just, I just lay down until I have to go back for the next session. I grab food and then I lay down.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have to stay up until 10:30, and then wake up at 6 to go to the workout at 6:30 is just bullshit.
That's
I
pretty
want to
brutal.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
My other complaint is that dinner is at 4 p.m.
That's weird.
Huh.
That's like retiree times.
Yeah, and we have a session after it at 7. So dinner at 4. They stop serving food at 5:30, right? Because it's an hour and 30 minutes to grab food, and then after 5:30, you just get to lounge around until 7.
Okay.
Or if you're smart, you go over at 6:30. So I mean, an hour of lounge time ain't that bad. But especially when I don't have a roommate, so I just bring my food home to the dorm. I'm so used to just going home after practice that I keep saying. Anyway,
Sure.
but pros, obviously meeting the cool people. The Wrestling Hall of Fame is like just across the street.
That's
too.
nice.
And one last pro is that I have the best room in the whole building, like apartment and sleeping area. So if I would have had roommates, they can fit 3 to a room. There's the A room, the B room, and the C room. There's 2 bathrooms, right? Because this is like a suite situation.
Yeah.
The B room and the C room are right next to each other, and my room is at the very other end. Right next to the exit door, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which wouldn't sound good, but is actually the best. But it's on the other corner of the suite, and it's right next to the exit to the main building.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just I don't have to walk past people.
Yeah.
Just inside into my room. It's fucking peak.
I think that's
man.
That's
And I'm
probably
on the first
best.
floor, so I don't have to go upstairs.
That's really nice, especially after you completely tired yourself out.
For sure. My legs not working. Let me tell you. Also, obviously you don't use Snapchat and you don't have my Snapchat, so you wouldn't have seen this.
I do,
But,
and I do.
You don't have my Snapchat.
I don't have your Snapchat. That's true.
I didn't know you had Snapchat in general. I just assume I don't know, people over us. I'm not gonna be able to say that. I just assume people don't have Snapchat.
Yeah.
But some dumbass pulled the fire.
Oh.
So we had 500 push-ups.
Yikes.
In one session.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
It was the worst I think I've ever I kind of had to cheat a little bit and do half push-ups because my arms literally would not push me up all the way.
Yeah.
Not to mention that just for funsies, they added in extra workouts in between. That way our arms could rest. Thank God they did that.
Wow.
So I probably also did about 100 squats, like 80 planks. Like we did so much shit.
That is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, but the laundry's free, so there's that. I think that's about it.
Sounds good. Thanks for the reports. Thanks for the awesome updates and news. I look forward
Thank you
to
for letting me on.
finishing this out strong and having an amazing time. I look forward to hearing more stories from the next few days you got there.
You probably will when more awesome people come. I'm gonna head out because room check's in 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, get out of here. All right.
Yep.
Take
And
it
then
easy,
after that, I'm heading to bed. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say goodnight.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good night, big dog.
Later. Okay, Riel, is it just streaming on multiple platforms? Yes. So why? Oh, I stepped in a trap. How rude. How dare this level have snares on the ground like that? And now let's go check on the weather forecast. Is this kind of like a show to you? I mean, that's kind of what we do on Wednesdays, especially. Is, you know, it's very stylized, chatting, conversing about specific topics. Sometimes we have tangents, but I think tangents is what makes us human. You know, I was watching this video. I promise I'll get to your answer about why multi-stream wouldn't be allowed, Real. I was watching this video on ChatGPT and other language learning model things like that. And they said one of the ways you can tell that you're dealing with a GPT or some sort of AI is that they don't do tangents very well. So you'll ask it a question, and normally you're talking to like a real human being. The question, the answer will come out, and they'll say, you know, oh, well, that reminds me, or like, but also this one thing, or like, oh, look, a squirrel. Oh, I just, you know, I saw this thing out of the corner of my eye. And so human chat just doesn't really flow incredibly well, but that's kind of what makes it fun and interesting. You learn more about a person the more they have trouble or struggle staying on one topic, and I like that part. And so you know, are we talking about wrestling on a night where, you know, the topic is definitely not wrestling? Sure, I don't think that's a big issue. And in fact, in this particular case, we're talking about somebody who is in love with one particular thing, is basically life devoted to that thing, and has gotten to go to a like a special extensive camp to train in this one particular skill set, which is more than I've ever done for anything that I've loved, because I don't really love that deeply on things. Not to that level anyways. It's interesting and I love it. Great. Did Twitch ban multi-streaming? Not exactly. So here's the thing. Twitch has been accused of being on a bit of a warpath, and their terms of service did say that there are certain things that ought to happen that haven't exactly been happening. For example, prominent Australian streamer Nutty, who is famous for creating a lot of plugins, streamer bot support, OBS support for streamers. He's become the streamer's streamer. Nutty started off as I think like a speedrunner, but then found out that he really just liked tweaking all the aesthetics and flow and everything on his stream so much that he started to like show other people how to do it. Oh, I just developed this new chat, or I just developed this new widget for music, or check out this widget that plays whenever somebody donates, that sort of stuff. Like that started to become his thing. He thought it was so much fun that he became famous to other streamers as a streamer. So if you don't stream, maybe you don't know Nutty. But if you do stream, you've probably come across his videos at some point as like one of the tutorials out there that that helps out other people who do stream. He was banned from Twitch just for one day. So, you know, slap on the wrist ban. But it was for promoting another stream above Twitch, which he doesn't feel he did. And he also looked in the TOS and it said that you are supposed to get a warning for these things. So he did not get a warning. And it seems kind of sketch that something happened where he really felt strongly about he was doing things okay. What happened was he was developing out infrastructure for TikTok, and TikTok has a donation system. It's like giving flowers or roses or something like that. Does anybody actually use TikTok in a monetized sense? Am I saying this right? And he said, well, I've set up this widget that will go off whenever I get a donation. Does somebody want to test with a donation? And Twitch saw that as, you're asking people from a completely different platform than ours to promote, that they give you money on a different platform. This is in direct business violation with us. We want that money. We want you to be promoting people give money through our platform, because Twitch takes a cut on everything. For those of you watching that aren't on Twitch, the answer is every time somebody donates anything on Twitch, whether it's straight tip money or a subscription or whatever, Twitch gets to take a cut of all of it, either ahead of time or after the fact or whatever. They take a cut. And they take a bigger cut than other platforms too. So I think they are really very much, trying to preserve their business interests here. But it looks bad. And if this were the only thing, I'd say, you know what? Well, Nutty had a bad time for some reason. And, that's just the one guy. But what happened in this last week or so is that a whole heck of a lot of people were issued a warning. This time, they actually were given a warning, not just outright banned out of nowhere. And that warning was for spamming. And so some detectivation happened, and me and a few other people looked into this to try to understand, because as a person who might be multi-streaming to Kick, I would really like to know what it is that I could be perceived of as doing wrong and how I could rectify that, or how I could at least not get banned from that happening. And so what happened was a number of these people had links in their Twitch bio or About Me section or whatever, saying, come to my Kick stream here. And it was perceived that that was promoting that people would leave Twitch and watch the live stream on Kick instead. And if you do watch the live stream on Kick instead, that is again violating Twitch's desires that they are high and above everybody else. And in fact, in their terms of service, while they don't say you have to be exclusive to us like they did 2 years ago, they do say you have to place us above everyone else. And the English of that in the terms of service is a little ambiguous. I'm happy to pull up the terms of service and we talk about it, but the rough gist of it is they say we need to be higher priority or better than or more so than the other platforms, and they don't specify exactly how you go about doing that. They don't make it crystalline clear, and they really ought to, because in a case like this, you really want to know, how do you keep yourself from not losing your livelihood for anybody who is in a higher position than myself as far as their building of their community, or for people like me who are aspiring to make that our one means of paying the bills. Man, these treasure coffers going crazy on us. So yeah, the basic concept is, if a lot of folks feel that they are under the gun and they're nervous about where they can and can't stream at the same time, what they can say, how they can talk about their other brands, what they're allowed to say on stream, what they're allowed to say in their profiles, what works and what doesn't. And in reviewing the legal framework around how they want you to have your brand set up, it feels like there are so many loose choices in the way that they framed what they want of us, that it could even apply to things as benign as if I got a donation on YouTube and an alert went off and my Twitch stream saw that alert go off, and they could say, you know, that was a third-party software and it's in promotion of another platform and the monetization thereof, and therefore that, you know, that violates terms of service and could result in a ban. And yeah, just uh-oh, I didn't want to get in here so early. In fact, I think this is bad to be in here right now. This is going to let me out, and then I'm going to be in danger. This is what you need to be in. These three are all going to die to the whirlpool. Oh, they didn't die. Look at that. Yeah, so, you know, I know quite the majority of folks who are watching me stream are doing so on Twitch. So I know you all probably wouldn't mind if for some reason I said, hey, I can't live stream on Instagram anymore. I can't, which froze on me and died again, it looks like, because Instagram been dying a lot. But if I said I couldn't live stream on YouTube anymore, a lot of you folks watching on Twitch probably wouldn't be that burdened by it. But I would, because YouTube has forever VODs and Twitch does not. Well, I should say, Twitch has forever VODs at a limited capacity. YouTube's forever VODs do not have a storage quota on them. YouTube has higher quality video options and rewind, and Twitch does not. YouTube has a lot of passive advertising media going through their platform, and Twitch does too, but you know, YouTube's historically known for their AdSense campaigns, whereas Twitch advertising and the usage thereof, it's a bit of a newer beast, and it's not as fully fleshed out and as well known by advertisers as like the place to go, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot to consider why I'd be really sad if I lost a platform. Now, if I lost Twitch, I think that would affect a great deal of you, and a lot of you would be incensed by that too. So also just thinking in terms of empathy, if you saw that I was getting banned from one platform and it wasn't Twitch, you'd still feel at least bad that it could have been Twitch. Yeah. An IRL friend of mine worked at Twitch and they treated her real bad. Can you provide more detail to that? I'm curious. And was this recent or in the Wayback Machine? They have some ridiculous perks in the office. I don't trust perks. That's the thing. In my understanding, especially of tech companies, I feel like they get big discounts on certain things, and they levy those to sort of give you an idea of a worth that you are, that they're getting on discount, or they're getting certain write-offs for using these services. And they offset your pay to pay for these services. In other words, you might be getting 5% less pay than a competing company, but it feels like you're being well taken care of because you get all these other, you know, little boons and everything. But if you just had the money instead, you'd be probably doing better. And then you could make the choices yourself about where you want your money to go. I might be oversimplifying it. That's not always the case, but I've had friends who have commented that when they were able to do some comparatives to what other people in other industries were making, that didn't have like the free breakfasts or the person walking around with the barista cart through the office, and just all these little things, or like gaming on your lunch breaks and that kind of stuff, that the other folks that don't get those perks just generally get better pay. I'm in the rare situation where the last job I worked, which that company dissolved and sold themselves to be acquired by a larger company, who I now work for, that the smaller company paid really well and benefited really well, and the larger company paid less and didn't give benefits. So I lost both. I lost pay and I lost bennies. But I can't I can't complain that I moved to the wrong company. I didn't have a choice. My company is that old company is now dead and gone. You can upload VODs to YouTube. That's what a lot of Twitch streamers do. That's what a lot of Twitch streamers did. I think it's just easier to, unless you're looking for a very specific curated experience, to stream to YouTube, and then the VOD is already there without any work on your part to do. But if you have an editor and you're looking to get stuff more refined, I definitely think that putting the VOD somewhere, the right place to do that is YouTube. Those other guys are on a completely different platform. I hope they're okay. Just before the pandemic, they expected her to do a bunch of Android coding. That's not her background. Oh no. But they kept forcing those projects on her and punishing? Oh, that person's dead. All right, hang on. Let me do some protection work here first, real quick. Can I heal from over here? Good. You come back to life for me. Good, excellent. Okay. I don't remember how this fight goes, so I don't remember what we're doing with these last bits here. But did we win? Oh no, that was loot from another fight. Oh no, that person's been taken away. Oh, there's still, nope. No, you don't. You don't get to do anything to me. What kind of punishment? I'm curious. The dudes working there discounted her opinions on things because she's also gorgeous, so they assume pretty equals dumb. One, I hate that. Two, I think that's one of the weirdest and dumbest things anybody could ever do, and I can't understand it. I have a great example. I've mentioned this in a previous stream before, but I had a prob stat teacher who looked like a pinup doll, and she dressed that way. She had the full like pinup makeup. She was, you know, almost a caricature, but also like could pull off the look. You know, wasn't just goofing around. Like she really nailed the aesthetic to perfection, I would say. And I don't know what her peers thought of her because I didn't ask. Oh no, I just died there. Oh, no, I did die. Oh, I shouldn't have stayed on that platform. Oh, we might actually die because these two don't know what they're doing. Yeah, this is not great. She was one of the best teachers I've ever had in any math class ever. She was incredibly smart, was great at coming up with different examples when people got stuck, could help with struggling students, I think, better than the TA could, which was rare because a lot of times the TA kind of knew students better than the teacher. The professor professes and the TA gets the students. I think that's kind of how it worked at my school anyways. And yeah, this one was just fantastic in every which way. And if you judged her on your looks, you'd be an absolute moron. Because who said looks have anything to do with what your brain... It just doesn't make any sense. Brain and looks don't connect in any way. Regarding perks, I've worked at a gaming startup and a fintech startup. The gaming had crazy benefits, but the pay was shit. Yeah. Fintech place is pretty conservative with the perks, but paid almost double what the gaming company did for less work. Yep. That's the other thing, too, about gaming, from what I hear, is that they assume that because everybody loves games, you and everybody else will also love making them, no matter what it is that they make you do to make them. And so they believe that one of the perks to working in the gaming industry is you get to work in the gaming industry, and so they don't have to pay you as much. And if they feel like you are sort of pushing for higher pay and more benefits or whatever, that you're being pushy, they also feel like, well, this is a mill where we can just sort of run through qualified people. We don't need you per se. We'll just grab the next person who's also super excited about working in the gaming industry, and they will be, what's the word I'm looking for? Grateful for the opportunity to work in gaming. Yeah. I don't feel like that's anything like that's happening with me. I work in a completely different and super boring industry right now. But I do feel like there are some companies that they just don't know that other people had it better or have it currently better in other companies. And when they find out about that kind of stuff, I think they don't know what to do. They just hope that either you'll go away or they can replace you with somebody else who doesn't know any better. One of the first things I did when this company I currently work for acquired my old company, I asked if there was a benefits portal for discounts and tickets and, just one of those like employee perk websites. They're never anything terrific, but if you're already, I said this about T-Mobile earlier, if you're already going to shop at these third-party companies that did some sort of licensing agreement with the company you work for, like, oh, hey, you're going to get a discount on your phone bill if you sign up with this thing. Well, I was already going to, I already have that particular phone company as my provider, then that's fine. Or I was already going to go to that theme park, or I was already going to eat at that restaurant. And so here happens to also be a perk that just aligns with that. And it's just like another small little nice perk. It's not the same thing as getting better pay. It's just something. And I asked about that because my last company had one of those little perk things. You got cheaper tickets and cheaper food and services just here and there. And it every little bit helps and offsets, everything in the end. And HR, who I emailed about that, they just didn't reply. They didn't say, we're sorry we don't have a program like that, or we're looking into that, or thank you for your consideration. Nothing. Just left me on red. And a lot of shit like that happens. I've been left on red with this company. I've been left on red asking a follow-up question to somebody's request of me. That part's crazy as hell. I'm sorry, I'm just like ranting about work now. I'll stop after this. But that's the one weirdest part about the culture of this particular company. I can get an email from somebody saying, I could really use this. And I answer back, great, I'd love to help you. Can you tell me more about the problem? And then nothing. I'm not asking for anything ridiculous, am I? Just clarification. It's their problem if I don't hear back from them. My problem doesn't get unsolved. Their problem gets unsolved. Okay, I'm done. Gaming pays so much less than it should, and it's so toxic. Very crabs in a bucket. Oh yeah, absolutely. Current job does have a company store, and one time they're like, here's a $25 gift certificate for buying company branded merch. Nice. I implied gift certificate. I was kind of pissed because just give us the money. Yeah, a little bit. So about 50 color changing branded cups. They stopped giving us company store money after that, and the cups were removed. Wow. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I've gotten some company merch from the last company that doesn't exist. And it's always kind of weird stuff that I kind of do wish I had just gotten like a gift certificate or something. My previous company did that. If there was like a merit or like a, Christmas bonus or something, it was just money in your pocket. You wouldn't get merch. Let's see. Do I still have any mathematics needs on this character? I think I do. So I've already got 750s all down the left side, 750s. But I do have some 740s on this side. Suppose I ought to start filling that in. I really don't care about the other jobs and giving them upgrades, so I don't mind doing an incremental upgrade for this character and neglecting the other jobs. I really just want to be better at Astro. Well, hello, Kaistiana. I can't remember if I've asked this, so I'm just going to ask it again. Are you comfortable with me calling you that, even though your screen name is this? I have like one online name for you now. I saved the game, Kara. It's saved. I promise. I did the thing. I'm just kidding. It always saves. It's just always saved. I got a company branded blanket once. I hit 10 years. Wow. A blanket. I missed that blanket in the box it came in. Wait, what happened to the blanket? Good with Kaistiana. Good. Okay, so I have new earrings. And a new necklace. I'm almost at 750. There's higher level stuff than this in this this current phase of the game, but you have to do some really, really hard content to do it. I'm comfortable doing not very hard content and just being a filthy casual about the game. And having reasonable gear. Okay. Did all of that. I went MIA when I moved and the box got crunched? No. Wait, but the blanket. If the box was crunched, what about the blanket though? Oh, sorry. It went. I read you went. It went MIA. Oh no. Just a casualty of the move. Did we ever talk about how bad our move to Georgia was? We trusted a company, which I will gladly shame on the internet, called Oz Moving. You would think the streamer of Oz would be well taken care of with Oz Moving, but she wasn't. That's not why we picked the name. They were recommended by somebody else. And the thing with Oz Moving that they don't tell you, this might be other companies too, so, you know, caveat emptor sort of thing, is big moving companies don't service small towns. So you might think to yourself, how do you get my good household appliances and furniture and all of that? How do I get that well taken care of from end to end if I'm not moving from big city to big city? In which case we weren't. And the answer is, with people like Oz Moving, what Oz Moving did is they hire subcontractors to take care of part of the work. They move your stuff with these third-party people that don't work for Oz Moving. And those people will either load or unload or both. It'll be different companies on both ends, probably just small mom and pops in both areas. And then they transfer. They go to some distro building. They transfer it to Oz Moving's actual trucks. And Oz Moving holds your content and waits until they can ride share your shit with other people's. So they use these really big semis and they'll fit multiple loads in. They'll try to find other people that are moving the same direction as you. And they'll wait a little while to do that too. So you might have a holding period while they try to make the most money off of moving your stuff by collecting it together and paying the least amount of gas and driver time possible to do it. And the worst part of this is the endpoint driver. Well, first of all, did we lose our stuff at distro? We did. Some of our stuff got transferred to a different location and given to another person, given to another customer of Oz Moving who got our stuff and opened it. And to make matters worse, when she opened that stuff, this random customer of Oz Moving that was not us, in a different state than us, she found it to be damaged. We had ceramic pots and pans and casserole dishes and stuff that was basically completely and utterly shattered. A box full of shards at that point. despite our best packing. Then the endpoint guy that did unpack our stuff, he ended up coming with 2 other people that we didn't find out until near the end of the day were not employees. He didn't want to do the job alone because he felt like it would be very tiring and annoying, so he decided he would bring his friends. And so he brought his friends, and they all came to help out each other. And he asked for a tip at the end of the day. And I said, oh, I tipped the company, and they're supposed to give you money. And he said, they didn't give me any money. You're supposed to tip me. And I called the company about it, and he left before I could finish the conversation. I think he was going to pocket the tip money from the company, and he was going to give my second tip to his friends because he was going to shake me down for double tips to try to get more money in the pockets of some other people. Or maybe he just told his friends, I'll buy you pizza and beer, didn't tell them shit, and just tried to get double tips out of me himself. He seems like the sort of person that might have just done that. Like, hey, I'll buy you lunch if you help me move these people. I didn't say shit about the money. Maybe. Now I'm curious. Well, anyway, that was my awful story. I don't know what we get at 10 years. I think it's a bag. I think at 10 years, I just get another week of vacation. But that was before we got acquired. At least 5 years, or at 5 years, it was a hideous pair of socks that only a finance bro would wear. Oh, wait, what kind of socks do finance bros wear? I'm just curious. I've never been one. I never had that kind of money. Now I'm sort of curious what that kind of sock looks like. It was this pretty wooden box. Oh, the box was nice. Cool, too. 24 by 24 suitcase type thing, and the blanket was super soft Sherpa embroidered with the company name in the corner. It sounds really nice, except for the whole company name thing. Yeah. My parents had that issue. They had U-Haul move it to the nearest big city, then subbed moving the box to their house later. Yeah. Yeah, pretty awful. Like, we just had generic, wow, that was terrible conversation. Yep. Yep. Blaisdell, this is Final Fantasy 14. It is the, there are 2 online Final Fantasies. They're both still current and live servers. And this is the newer of those 2, the other one being Final Fantasy 11. If you've never played an MMO in your entire life, Final Fantasy 11 might be interesting for you. It's got old RPG vibes, old MMO vibes. If you like a modern MMO experience and you've ever played an MMO, all of the good MMO stuff that you've ever played in an existing MMO, all the way up to and including the ones that have come out in the last 5 years. 2 companies are likely to have poached those ideas, made them their own, and turned it into something good and fun for you to play in their own personal games. And those are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. So as much as I enjoy this game for the merits of it being a good Final Fantasy game, I also enjoy the unfortunate side effect that this game has the components of things that I love in other MMOs because they steal ideas. Not much I can say about that. Not much I can do about that. They steal ideas. That's okay. I suppose everybody does it in the gaming industry. If an idea is really well beloved and it works, then you're going to see it over and over again in other games. And the idea being completely innovative and different from everyone else is somewhat unrealistic at some point, especially when it comes to games of this vastness. The one thing that Final Fantasy does that other MMOs do not do, which I will laud them for and say this is the one thing I think this MMO does fantastic, is they never reuse a boss fight in a different skin later on. You're not ever fighting the same, like, oh, yeah, you stand over here to dodge this, and then you gotta run to this spot and do that. Yep, I know. I know what we're facing. I've faced this before. every boss fight is different. How did they do that? I'm not quite sure. It's impressive. That must take an amazing amount of coordination and documentation to really make sure that you don't end up stepping on your own shoes later on and accidentally doing the same thing. For a game that's been out as long as this one has, that I really don't know how you keep things fresh. Didn't know Final Fantasy XI was still up. It's kind of weird, right? But I'd say it's not so weird given the fact that EverQuest 1 is still up. And that was the first big 3D rendered MMO. Before Final Fantasy XI, what was the other biggest? Uh-oh, I'm dying. Oh, I didn't die. Super thought I was going to die. The other biggest MMO that existed before before EverQuest 1 was likely Ultima Online. When did Ultima Online come out? I feel like it had to have been before EverQuest 1. Will that kill me? We do not have an active healer in this group. Ultima Online was isometric graphics. Is that right? For anybody that's ancient and has played these games? I think that one was all isometrics. Okay, go this way. That's the... Oh, I still got hit. I super thought I knew exactly where to stand. You end up getting hit a lot learning these fights. It's not terrible, but you lose your defensibility with every hit you take. So the longer the fight wages, the more chance you have to die to the mechanics if you haven't sorted them out yet. I feel like I sorted these out in a previous version of these fights, but it doesn't matter. I'm still not that terrific at dodging them. Evercrack? Yeah. Ultima Online was 97. Okay. I'm fairly certain that EverQuest was 1999, 2 years later. Oh, look at that. I'm going to absolutely die to this. Yep, I did. Well, I hope we have enough people alive to finish off the fight. Yeah, 2 years later that one came out. But I would say, I believe EverQuest was the first one to use 3D graphics in an online MMO experience. At least an MMO experience. I think there were some games that were of the same sort of like fantasy multiplayer concept, but I wouldn't call them massive multiplayer. They were, smaller scale, older versions of the same kind of concept. EverQuest 1 is still up. EverQuest 2 is still up. A number of MMOs that came after those two have been decommissioned, long since decommissioned. I remember EverQuest 2 being a big deal for people who liked MMOs because it was the first prominent sequel in the genre. But what made things complicated is as many people as there were who loved EverQuest and, one of the first big MMOs out there, there are a great deal of people who also very much loved the Warcraft games. And World of Warcraft, the MMO version of the Warcraft games, came out at the same time. And that had to have been very tricky to deal with. How do you How do you choose between a game that's either, has all your nostalgia from MMOs, or the game that has all your nostalgia from real-time strategy? It's tricky. And the other part of it too is EverQuest 2's graphics were an attempt to look photorealistic. So they had a lot of mapping for like lighting and shading and bump and all that kind of stuff that really tried a lot of people's computers. You could always turn those graphics down if you didn't like the cool shading or shadows, or your computer just couldn't handle it at the time. But it was there, and so it was a very future-proofing game. And I feel like people saw that attempt to have like higher fidelity graphics in an online game. They're like, it looks like a lot. It really does look like a lot. It's kind of difficult to look at. Whereas World of Warcraft did the opposite. They went lo-fi compared to almost every other MMO that was out there. They had worse graphics. They just made everything look very cartoony and arcadey. And they also sped up the gameplay. So the amount of experience that you got per fight was big. The amount of intensity in the fights was low. When you died, almost nothing bad happened to you. So they took out all the punishment, increased the rewards by a ton, and made the game super cutesy. Very cutesy comparatively to its predecessors that tried for more grit. And I think those things won. I think by and large, people really enjoyed that kind of stuff significantly more. City of Heroes, Lineage, Guild Wars. Is Lineage still on? I think Lineage 2 might still exist. But I suspect Lineage 1 has been decommissioned, but I'm not entirely sure. City of Heroes, they called, didn't they? That one had a actual cancellation. They shut down the servers one day. And that was the end of their story. And Guild Wars is still around. Guild Wars is a little complicated to call like an MMO though, right? Because Guild Wars does instanced combat. Is that correct? I played it to some degree with a friend or with a couple friends. We never like beat it or got to the. I don't know. Maybe we got pretty far. I can't remember us ever like killing an end boss or something like that. But I remember every time you would leave the city, you would join an instance and you would fight through that instance like a dungeon. And so there wasn't ever any like open areas. Like what I'm in right now is, many different groups can all come here together and fight things together or separately and choose what they want to do. You're not in a place with just like 4 people alone. I know some MMOs have a mix of instance content too. This one also has instance content, but it's not the only way you can fight. I think that was the only way you could fight in Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 2 was like a full open MMO though. We played that a lot. Oz and I and a few of our friends probably played that quite extensively. Asheron's Call. I never played that one. I only saw bits and pieces of it. You think City of Heroes came back? Interesting. It's probably a smart move. A game based on superheroes is just, it's endemically good. Just like Sea of Thieves. It's about pirates. Are kids still watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies today? Probably not so much. But I think everybody kind of goes through a phase for different types of stuff. And as long as there's a game out there that lets you play and be that thing, then it's smart to keep out there. Oh my God, City of Heroes. I worked at a company that had a similar game. They thought, we shut down Heroes. Oh no. Dude showed up to our office demanding to speak to support. Oh, especially if they're like knocking on your door physically. That's got to be intimidating. Like I would let no one short of security go and answer that door. Like, listen, buddy, we're not. What was the company? NC Soft. Like that. Look at who's up on our building here. You're looking for these guys. Here's their address. Have fun. This is a fight a lot of people want because there's a special phantom job in here. The Berserker. You get it from having to fight a Berserker. The Berserker in this fight is very annoying because he moves a lot. I think, if I did this, we don't have a healer. I'm going to be a healer. Very last second. That was a very close call. I'm going to be a healer for this fight. I've never healed this fight, but I feel like I will have a much better time if I'm not melee, because he's really annoying to melee. The closest that you have to keep with him is just super aggravating. Because he moves everywhere. Even still, I have to be mindful of where to stand because he's got all these raid-wide abilities. You always have to find his knee on this one. Hard to see his knee when everything's glowing in the middle of my screen, though. Oh my god, Blizzard was in the building next to my company. How was that? Do you have any experiences? Did you know Jason Thor, what's his name? The guy who does the pirate software streaming now. I've had a few people compare me to him. I'm hoping in terms of stream quality. But since he had the weird scandals about him being weird in World of Warcraft, I haven't heard comparisons between the two of us. I'm kind of grateful for that. Oh boy. See you on the other side of ads, some of you. Oh yeah, this is going to go way nicer for me. I don't have to stand anywhere near you. I'll be off in the distance doing my own thing. I suppose I could be a good person and res some of these people who are asleep on the ground. Do they need reses? That one's got res. Okay. See, somebody else is already a better Samaritan than I am. Christiana, I can't remember if you can hear me through ads. If you can, please let me know. Ooh. Good, everybody in my group's still alive. That makes me happy. They're dodging. Where's the knee? Got to get behind the exposed knee. The other nice thing is, as a healer, I'm not so required to dish out damage to get my contribution for this fight. If you don't contribute, you risk not getting the full reward. So it's kind of a big deal. I'm going to take her absence of reply as a no. This is not a great place for me to stand. I'm going to get hit by that one. And I did. I got hit by two. This is awful. I have to be better at positioning on this particular part of the fight. Uh-oh. No. I can't stand still long enough to res without a swift cast res. 40 more seconds and I'll be able to talk to the chat as a whole. So I'll be a little game faced between now and then. Try to catch everyone up on their heels. More sweep. There's just so much running in this particular fight. This is why when I play as melee, I feel like I don't have a good time here. Because you don't get to fight, you have to run. You can't stand at his toes because he makes it so hard for anybody to actually do anything. I think I want to move this over and give myself my return button on a hotkey just for this area. That one's gonna die before I can get down there. That's fine. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, what was it like having Blizzard next to you? We shared a building with Activision for a few. They all looked real dejected all the time. Oh no. I hope that's just a bad boss, not the bad company as a whole. The receptionist was in a bulletproof box for a bit till they built the campus. Yikes. We knew a lot of the people who worked there at the time, though you may not have known them as well being younger to the group. Your ads being glitchy. Sorry. I wish I could do something about them. A lot of these fights are hard as melee. That's why I like the extra dash from the Phantom Ranger. That really helped. The one, I forget if you were here when I did it. The one fight where I couldn't figure out exactly what to do. Now I think I'm a little bit more cognizant of exactly how the mechanic goes. Is the Mind Flayer in here? They have those imps and they draw you to them. And if you get drawn in, you get hit by a small AoE. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does add a stack of vulnerability, right? So the object of that fight, especially because it takes longer, it's a little bit of a harder fight, and a lot of people die on this one, is really to keep away from those imps so that you don't keep getting stack after stack after stack every time they get spawned. And I kept not figuring out where they would end up after they get shuffled a couple times on the map. Now I think I have a bit of a clue as to how that happens. But what I did was, as Ranger, I would just wait for them to do the shuffle, and then I'd use the dash to get as far away from them as possible, and that seemed to work. That was pretty nice. Although now that I'm not leveling that job, so I could go back to Ranger and use the dash, but then I'd be missing out on getting my experience for Chemist, which is what I'm really more excited about doing. Although now that I'm not fighting in a CE, I really don't want to stay as Astro, because I feel like I'm more nervous about getting my contribution now. There we go. And there's already another CE. I guess I'll have to go back to heals again. I also want to take the moment to shout out. She's not in chat, but I think credit needs to go where credit is due. But if it weren't for Sierra, you might see her pop in from time to time in my streams on Twitch. If it weren't for Sierra, I would not be a multi-streamer, or at least I wouldn't be a multi-streamer as early as I did, because I was convinced by a video, I think in the summer of 2023, that multi-streaming was just something that you could be banned for and nobody should try to do. And so I was convinced I was just going to try to be a YouTube VOD maker and a Twitch live streamer, and that was just the end of the story. That was all it was going to be. And then when I found out that Kick existed back then, I was like, oh, well, there's where people go if you ever get banned by Twitch, because you can at least... Sorry to everybody who's watching me on Kick. Although Kick keeps saying reconnecting, so I'm curious. I'm just gonna go peek over there and see if that stream is doing anything right now. It is not doing anything. That stream is not working tonight. Don't know why. Don't know how it happened that way. But Kick, Kick hates this. You know what it might be? The only thing I can think of is that Kick will not allow me to send it 2K material. And it says, I don't know what kind of stream you're trying to send, but I do not accept this. In which case, I wonder, I could perhaps change the resolution just for Kick. I'm going to try that real quick. Do we have time? 36 seconds? How fast can I do this? Modify, encoder. I don't know. Resolution 1080 by 1920. And everything else seems fine. Let's try that. If this works, so help me, I think that did it. Let's find out. Let's come back to my channel again and see if things are working appropriately. It might take a minute. I'll have to do this fight and then take a look. Oh no, I'm still having issues with Kick. Okay, that wasn't it. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a Pokemon collector or anything when it comes to live streams. I definitely did research into some that I just feel like are probably not a good fit, either culturally or otherwise. Not the smartest idea. So I'm not going to pursue streaming everywhere. But the idea of collecting people together that are from disparate communities, that have disparate ideologies, that might be able to get into interesting conversations with one another, I think is a worthwhile endeavor to at least try. And that's something that, while is an okay business practice for me, on paper it looks like, oh, I stream to a lot of different places, so I must be incredibly successful at what I'm doing. Getting, so many eyes on me from all over the place. The reality is that the discoverability, if you thought Twitch's discoverability was bad, it's way worse on other smaller platforms. And it's not just that they have smaller communities, they are also bad at putting you out in front of new viewers too. Because I can tell when people are getting eyes on my channel as well. Okay, I need to pick up 2 coins. Where's the 2 coin pile? Right over here. I did the thing. I really do think it's or I don't think. I am doing this more for the connecting of multiple communities than I am to try to bolster my numbers. And that's the way it should be. I think every streamer has to consider what they're doing with their resources that they have. How do you spend your time? How do you spend your money? And what do you talk about when you are on stream? And I think the smart thing to do is to find a philosophy and stick with that. It's your founding idea. It's what puts... Oh, 5? Okay. It's what puts people in front of you, and then it's what keeps them as long as you keep to your guidelines, as long as you keep true to who you are. If you waffle on stuff, if you're flaky, you change ideas all the time, that only serves a certain type of demographic. It's generally the only people I think that succeed really well with changing their perspective several times while they stream or during the course of their streaming career are if you happen to be in like politics and you start to develop a certain community and that community has desires of you. Like, oh, we really want you to take a harder stance against this country or this president. And you didn't necessarily have the take that everybody wanted. They could force your hand, you know. They'll pay better, they'll watch better, and the metrics will shift your mentality, or you'll cave to the metrics and become something that they all want to see. Oh, that one's almost dead. And I've definitely seen that. I've seen some folks that their entire persona is, you know, whatever these 10,000 people watching me live right now all want to hear, because just keep putting money in my pockets, please. I don't really have a philosophy. I really want to be whatever keeps the money coming. I also think culturally that must mean that some people who multi-stream probably do it at their own detriment, because if they hold to a certain ideological framing that places them more aligned with a certain type of audience. I won't pick on the ones that are very spicy because they'll make it really obvious of who I'm picking on. So I'll just pick on like Twitch and YouTube, because it's a lot more vague what I mean by that. Let's say you're a streamer and you really stream like Twitch-like content and not YouTube-like content. Then there's a chance that multi-streaming is actually harming you or is a bad idea for you, because you're going to be put in front of a lot of people that don't ultimately like or agree with the type of person you are, and they might be confused why you're even on their platform. One time I got asked why I was on somebody's platform. I think I responded back. I was like, the algorithm serves you, not me. So, you know, if you get me on your feed, that says more about you than it does about me. I've been doing a lot of research on algos while trying to grow the business, and that's one thing that flipped in my head that I didn't know before. The idea that there really wasn't anything I could do or say to try to make the algorithm serve me as much as I could tell you guys what you would have to do. Because the real service comes from how viewers watch, engage with what it is that they have pulled up. Like if you watch and immediately click away, or even thumbs down, or say I don't like this, or I don't want this in my feed, you know, that pushes people down in the algorithm, not anything that they've done necessarily. If you like, it's a small addition to the algorithm. If you watch all the way through, that's more addition to the algorithm. If you share or repost, share is even bigger, and repost is even bigger. Repost being, I think, the biggest thing that you can do. But also reposting means you become one of those people whose, profile has other people's content in it. And some people are comfortable with that, some people are not. Oh, I should be trying to invite people. I didn't realize I was leading. Not terrific. I guess I will go heals again. This one's the branch bearer fight, if I remember correctly. I think for me, another thing I appreciate, even if it wasn't about building a diverse community, even if it wasn't about getting my face in different places than I could otherwise through just one platform, I think I like the complexity. When I first started streaming, I used a streaming software called Streamlabs OBS, or Slobs for short. And it was simple and quick. And I used the Streamlabs chatbot, and that was simple and quick. And if I was interested in anything particularly nuanced beyond that, then I might be able to do it in that platform. And if I didn't, that's okay. I just didn't know about it because it wasn't one of the options. And then people who were smarter and nerdier than me said, you were too smart and nerdy for these things. I didn't know. I'm smart, but sometimes you're not smart enough to know what you don't know. And they said, you need to move to OBS instead of Streamlabs OBS. You need to move to a different bot. I toyed with a couple different bots. I ended up landing on one called Streamer.bot, and found bigger nerds than me who know how to set that one up. And ever since then, I think I've enjoyed doing things on a higher level of complexity than other people. I want a stream that feels seamless and easy, that's not full of visual noise and crazy alerts and everything. Focus more on the ideas being shared. But I also want one that's capable of high level detail and consideration for the community at hand. Something that serves all of you very well. Especially as a thanks for everything you've all been for now so many years. 11 years on YouTube, 5 years on Twitch in October. It's pretty crazy. I wasn't paying any attention to where I needed to be. I'm just gonna have to follow everybody else. You're getting away. Good thing I'm good at following swarms of people. There's also like just enough delay that if you really don't know what you're doing, you can just kind of follow everybody else. I hope Twitch figures out exactly what it's trying to do here, because I can't think of a worse thing to do right now than to force feed people into your platform and ignore that there's lively competition out there when everybody else is playing nice with each other. That's probably the hardest part. If everyone else also agreed, like, you know what? Hey, multi-streaming is bad, okay? We're all going to be about exclusives. You come here, you watch our people only. That's all you get to do. It'd be one thing. Then everybody's on the same page as each other. But when everybody else says everything's fine, whatever you're doing, you're doing good. You're a good boy or girl. And then Twitch says you are not. You're dirty and naughty for the things that you think you're allowed to do. That's a bad look for them. You don't get to be top of the game and then treat everybody else like they don't exist. That's out and in, out. There it goes. Out. In. spawned in. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that one. Never mind. It did not survive. Seems like everybody's going into the cave. Maybe I will have a chance to get there. I saw it a little bit too late. Teleported back to base and then back to the same place it just was. Kind of. Problem with this area is if you're not really quick on the draw, there's a good chance you don't make it to a fight in time to contribute. It can be really frustrating. Not that the fates don't provide as much as everything else does. They're only so good. There's a fate down there. I would also say community-wise, I like the idea of the different people that I've met across different communities. They've hit different nuances of my personality. I think if you were maybe not as much of a jack of all trades, you had a stronger personality in one given direction, which I'm more like kind of all over the place. I need like a lot of different subgroups to sort of fulfill all of the different nuances of who I am. Whereas I think if you were more specified in your personality, you might be more comfortable with one type of person. It'd be hard to say you know what type of person that is until you've shopped around and found them on one specific platform. Whereas I think I've met different sorts of people on different platforms that in the knowing of all of them has fulfilled me in a way that's maybe broader than I could do as a single platform streamer. Another CE already. Guess they were hopping quick. Oops. Although I will say, on some platforms, most of what I've gotten is trolling. I don't want to out which ones those are, but it's happened. Oh no, I got caught by one. I got caught by two. I turned away from the one just in time, but lag said that I wasn't turned away. And then the second eye that was supposed to be from the opposite orientation, that one ended up catching me as well. It's like the game doesn't actually know which direction I was facing. Pretty rude. Okay, it's dead. Where's that critical engagement? Back at the beginning. I'll throw Trova under the bus, actually. I lied. I wasn't going to throw anybody under the bus. When I first joined Trovo, I realized that the vast majority of folks in the platform were on the opposite side of the planet from me. And a great deal of them were Chinese speaking, which I was very excited about because I do speak some Chinese. but the vast majority were Russian speakers. I was like, okay, that's a little bit harder. I started to try to study Russian at one point in my life, and it was I was in a highly distractible stage of my life and a distracting area, and I didn't get almost any actual study done. So I can't say I really speak any Russian today, except a few dumb lines here and there. So I streamed there for a few times, and I noticed some people came in and immediately started to try to speak Russian with me. I was like, that's okay. I can copy, I can paste, I can read what it is that they're trying to say, translated in English, and then I'll just answer them in English. It's not a big deal. And I did that, and they seemed to be okay with that a little bit, some of the first chatters, but I feel like it was a lot of hazing or trying to like mess with me to see what would happen. And it was a vibe. Hazing doesn't bother me, especially like online hazing. I know it can really get to some people, but I really just tried to roll with the punches. They don't hardly know me. I don't hardly know them. It was like, you know, I feel to them it probably just felt like a sport. You know, what could I say to see some sort of big reaction from this guy that I just found online, kind of thing. And I was like, that's fine, you can try that. And I tried to be fun and funny with it, and I think it worked. I think fun and funny works to a degree. Did I get hit by something there? But it was also kind of annoying to try to translate all the time, and the quality of the conversations just wasn't really there. There were really almost nobody was coming to actually just like talk about things. So I was like, I'm not really so much for that type of chat. So I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to like at least announce to people what sort of streamer I am on this platform with one simple thing, and maybe it will make a difference as to who communicates with me. And that was at the end of every stream, I decided to add a USEN code for I'm a person who speaks English, like United States English. And I put another one that said CN Zhongwen, or you know, the word for Chinese in Chinese, to try to convince people that if you want to speak English on this channel, that's cool. I also can do that. If you want to speak Mandarin, I can also do that. We'll see how we do together. And since then, I stopped getting hazed. It's really weird. I don't know why that one little thing, or maybe it was just because it told people I was new to the platform when I first started. Because I can't necessarily say I did something to stop the hazing. It could have been other things too, right? It could have very well been you get an alert in Trovo if you're to invite people to watch new streamers or something like that. And I could have been subject to that. People go, oh yeah, I know what to do with a new streamer. We gotta break them in, boys. Or something like that. Okay, let's go over here. And hope. Ugh. I'm so bad at this. Why this one particular part? Well, I guess I only got hit once, but I'd love to know exactly where to stand to get hit 0 times on that one. Of course, I think I've gotten hazed on every platform now. So I also just believe that's a part of being a live streamer. Learning how to take the anonymity of the internet and understand that to some people it's just like poker chips in the casino. You're not allowed to play with bare money in a casino because they want you to feel like everything you're doing is zero consequence gaming. And how do you do zero consequence gaming? You play with games, or with you play with game pieces, and that's to say. So you're busy holding, chips and placing them down, and cards and little balls and slot machine levers and everything. You're busying yourself with stuff that feels otherworldly. It only exists in the casino environment. That's all that it is. And so the real impact is kind of lost on everybody. That's the same thing about making fun of people online. They're not real people because at the end of the day, you just turn off your computer and you never see how they interact with what you said about them. With live stream, it might be a little different. They might right then interact with what you have to say. Maybe not show you all their cards, as it were. But the point is, you'll never get socked in the face for something that you said to somebody online, right? The social ramifications are kind of lighter weight. You probably won't get reported to your HR department at work or to your parents at home if you're a kid, right? There's so many ways that you will evade the greater consequence of saying mean, cruel things to people. And I think when you're on the receiving end of those kind of comments, you have to understand that people play around with concepts and ideas and they try things. Just like when people are desperate for positive attention, they might try things that don't really pan out very well either. Sometimes just to see what will happen, right? Like a construction worker catcalling someone that they find attractive. Is that going to work? Has it ever worked? Has catcalling ever worked on somebody? Do you get a date that way? I don't know anyone in the history of catcalling that just gets people to stop what they're doing and say, "Hey, I heard you whistle. Let's go out." That was a really good whistle. He whistled real good. You're my type. Yeah, it's weird. Just as many people seek bad attention, whether they're doing it to try to make you feel good and they suck at it, or they're doing it to try to make you feel bad and they suck at it, or maybe they're really good at either of those. Maybe they're a real schmoozer, things that they say that really honey-tongued, or when they insult online, they really sting and that person ends up, taking it with them, carrying a burden of some online bullying that happened. It's definitely something that we're very nervous about how we're going to introduce that part of the world to our kids. They do not feel like people would ever just come in and say awful things about the way they look, the way they interact with the world online, because they have no concept that that's even a thing. But they will at some point. And I'd rather they heard it from our context, so that we explained it in some way that allows them to have some sort of mental armor before they experience it firsthand. One thing that makes me kind of nervous about having kids and being a content creator is that, in many cases, children show an interest in what it is that their parents do as a career. But I'd say, by and large, showing interest doesn't translate into they want to do it. If you're accountant, the chances of your kids becoming an accountant are probably the same chances that you had of becoming an accountant growing up. You know, if they're good at certain skills and it pays well enough, maybe they'll do it, sort of thing, but not just because mom or dad did it. But I do feel like the rules are different with certain types of careers. And I think anything in entertainment, content creator, musician, which I also am, actor, which I also am, these sorts of things, you often see famous actors coming from families of actors. Many of my favorite famous actors or favorite musicians came from families where the arts were important in some way, and it wasn't always direct. You know, sometimes an actor had a musician child or something like that. It's amazing how often that happens. And so I do feel there's a risk, there's a chance that my kids, there's that disconnect from server again. Failed to connect. Won't you all see it? It just says failed to connect, disconnected from server. What is that? What is going on there? What is it? What did it try that it can't do now? It does this now every stream, and I don't know which thing here that stops working. Somebody's gonna find it like months down the line. They'll be like, oh, hey, yo, maybe it's like closed captions or something, and somebody's gonna turn closed captions on near the end of my stream, and they're just gonna, well, they'll probably just assume that I don't have closed captions. I don't know. Something will happen and somebody will find it. It's probably not going to be me. I don't watch my own streams for QA. But yeah, I can't say we don't let our kids have never asked to watch our show. Our shows, our respective shows. They know what Oz does, they know what I do, but they don't really understand it at a deeper level. And I don't think the curiosity has really come up for them, and I find that an interesting place for them to exist in their lives. It's like, what do they think about it? I mean, we also don't ask, you know, what do you guys think about what we do? Because they don't really ask about what we do. Uh-oh, not there. So I'm really curious when they watch their first live stream of one of us. They don't, not even the whole thing, just watch part of one, what they will take from that. Is it interesting? Is it cringe? Do they want to do it too? Who knows? I think this fight looked more manic the first time I did it than this time. Or subsequent times. I do find it a bit annoying. These chocobos spawn in different sides of the map from each other. It's like 2 clusters of them. And most of the time you get into fights where your raid does not collect them up. So everybody's doing half damage. Uh-oh. You know what that one does. You gotta run. One thing that always baffled me, and I wonder if the world of multi-streaming will follow suit with other industries that surprise me in this aspect is I do feel like there are some companies that through advertising, brand building, or just collecting the right kind of lazy customer, they're able to keep providing a really low-end service or product to their users when there's a significantly better, I don't know, getting hit by stuff left and right on that one. Oh, I don't get him once. When there's a significantly better alternative product out there. That one's kind of weird and tricky to me. How does that happen? How do you make it so that your people love you so much that even when you're doing worse than your competitors, certain loyalists still want to stick with you? Now, I'm not saying like your Apple and Android sort of folk out there, because in some ways, some people have strong opinions that one company is doing so significantly better than the other, but they're really not so far apart. The disparity in the brand quality isn't enough to make people blatantly hate what they've got going on. But sometimes it's more black and white, that there's one that's just like they're not cutting it, and I don't understand why you would ever be loyal. Why you'd ever be loyal to any company or to any brand or to any one person if you really felt like, well, maybe the fact is companies are really good at making you feel like their inferior product is superior, period. Smear campaign. I always get hit on that one, so I need to figure something out to not. I wish I could think of an example right now. I just believe in my heart that there are some times when a company is just producing an inferior product or service. Time for Oracle. And somehow they keep their customer base captive in some way. How does that work? I did a little bit think that about Apple when they released Apple Pay. Apple Pay was something that had been around well before Apple Pay. Just NFT payments, or whatever you want to, the proper term for what those things are, where you have a sort of a wallet emission signal coming from your phone, and it connects up to a secure chip. That existed on Android phones a few years before Apple Pay came out. And when Apple Pay came out, they didn't announce it as, we've got our own NFT payment system that you guys are going to love for the iPhone that you're already using. We want to proudly announce we've joined the NFT revolution, and you all can pay with your phones even if it's an iPhone. We're here too. We have this technology too. They made it sound like a fucking invention. Like they did something themselves that they wanted to give to their community base. It's like, hang on. You didn't make anything. You took existing tech, and now you're using this existing tech. I have no idea what I just cast. Oh, it's like a rotating ability. That's interesting. My Oracle ability is changing. Oh, it just keeps changing. It's like rotating through different spells. Well, that's a surprise and delight. Oh, did I die? Why did I die? What just killed me? Somebody stop and res me. Oh, thank goodness. I'm not going to make it to the fate in time, but I just up and died, and I'm not quite sure what happened. Bird. Bird. Oh, I'm not going to get it. I don't know that I did any damage to it. Oh, I got full credit because I have a team there. I guess it really does pay to be in a group. Other people take care of me. Oh. Oh. Oracle is awful. What is this? Let me read this very last one and try to understand why I killed myself. I just need to understand the very last one, especially. When the effect of a prediction expires, a new prophecy is granted. If all predictions expire without a commensurate action being used, the prophecy changes to false prediction, causing damage over time to self with a potency of 50,000. You just die. So, all predictions without a commensurate action. Okay, so you have to use them. Or use at least one, I guess, in the rotation of them all. Phantom Judgment action effect. Oh, it's going to be an or, depending on the prophecy granted. Got it. So predict gives you something. You can either do unexpected damage to nearby enemies while you heal yourself and allies. So AoE damage, AoE heal at the same time. Nice. Cleansing action. Unaspected damage to nearby enemies and freezes time. I don't know what that means. It's just a freeze. Could just call it freeze. Blessing action heals self nearby party members and grants regen. So AoE heal, AoE haunt. And then Starfall, unexpected damage to self and nearby enemies. That's a little bit weird. So Starfall will hurt you, but it will also hurt them. So hopefully you're not like low in health, or you could come out bad. Do a bad to you, to yourself. All right. Wow. That's exciting stuff. Also, for those of you that didn't know or should know by now, there are 2 streams happening in this very household at the same time. One downstairs here and one upstairs with the streamer of Oz, who is also now officially a multi-streamer, now streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. If you haven't followed her on YouTube, please do so. She could use as many subs there as possible. For those of you that are more comfortable with Twitch speak, fear not, sub does not mean money on YouTube. Subscribing to someone on YouTube is just the word that they use for following, like Twitch followers. It's weird nomenclature, and I hate that they're different because it's super annoying to talk to 2 different groups of people in terms of, oh, thanks for the sub, and for that to mean very disparate things, right? Okay, should I try one of these predictions? Let's try one. Oh, first I'm going to take damage. That was probably not smart. Need to be watching a little closer where I'm standing versus all the AoEs. Oh, I think because I used it, now it went on a cooldown. The last one that killed me because I used it to get the spell, and then I never used the spell. That was probably not great. It's not a good time to do that because you need to pay too much attention to where I'm not going to stand and die. It's a good time to use it though. Yeah. What's this one? I don't know what that one did. I'm liking Oracle a lot though because it reminds me a lot of my favorite Final Fantasy XIV job, which is Astrologian. It kind of reminds me of old Astrologian where you had 6 different cards and each card did something wildly different from the others and you never knew what you were going to get. Now you have some gist of what you were going to get all the time. Ah, stepped right in it. This is where things get so hectic. There's so much movement all the time. It becomes very dizzying to try to keep track of. This is where I can stand. This is when I can cast one of my moves that makes me unable to run for a second because it locks you into an animation. Alright, let's do one more predict. Still has life ahead of it. What did that do? That was a big one. I'm taking needless stacks of vulnerability now. It's just so much running around. Oh yeah. Taking lots of pointless damage. It's a little bit healthier. Oh, that one killed me. Whoops. Whoops. That one was Starfall. Well, that one did a lot of damage to me. Interesting. Interesting. Can we see that? How far back? Oh, I don't think I'll be able to scroll back that far that fast. But it looked like I did a lot of damage in a very short amount of time and absolutely decimated myself. So maybe I have to watch out for that particular icon and not do it when it comes up. But I don't know which icon that is. I just have to mouse over it, and if I see Starfall, don't do that one. The pain. Well, some of us are getting a little bit of a res here. Good. Well, and I also got a level up after that. After licking the floor as long as I did. Happens to the best of us, I guess. Well, first, I ought to be replenishing all the buffs that I lost when I died before I go running out to the next thing. Ooh. The sneeze game is real tonight. And after I had just said, I think whatever was annoying my nose while I was in this room has gone away.
Easy.
I don't know if they'll make it to this one in time. This one dies really fast for some reason. Low health bar. Yep, it's gone. I know I was getting my buffs on and everything. I was busy doing other stuff. It's fine. Can't win them all. Yeah, especially when I was watching my old streams to try to get some clips together to present as shorts and TikToks and all that sort of thing. I was listening to so many old streams of myself, and there's so many instances in which my nose just sounds like it's struggling so hard. The quality of my voice is severely affected. I swallow a lot in between sentences or in the middle of a sentence. Like I'm having a lot of post-nasal drip issues. This is real flattering, fun stuff. My goodness. So many hoops to jump. It's kind of like playing hula hoop. Or hula hoop. It's kind of like playing a jump rope game, like double dutch. Oh, this guy's roasted. And I was convinced for the longest time that it was something in this room. I'm still not unconvinced. It could have been something in this room. And maybe it got moved out by somebody unbeknownst to me. I kind of wish I knew what it was. That was, you know, did somebody put like a weird mandrake or something underneath my my streaming desk? What was affecting me? I don't have known allergies, except for things that, while technically called an allergy, aren't thought of as such by people. Like when I touch poison ivy and poison oak, I have a reaction to both of those. As I understand it, those are called allergies, which I think is weird. It's my understanding that the vast majority of humankind, when touching poison food or poison foods, poison plants, feel the poison or get some sort of reaction to the poison. So I don't know if allergy should be the right word. We should have another word for something where something is endemic to you naturally for the vast majority of people, and when you're different than the vast majority, it's not called something like an allergy for the majority. I know immunity would sort of be the opposite term, be called immune to something, and that would imply it that there's a difference there. Oh boy. People bringing in the high level stuff in here. one that always surprised me, and this is true for my family heritage, is I think this is true for a lot of Finns and other people who live or whose heritage lived north of a certain line of latitude, but because we're not melanin having people and the frozen swamplands of Finland can sometimes be deprived of sunlight for a long time, you have to have your vitamin D somewhere else, and a great source of that is grass. But too bad humans can't digest grass. But it turns out that the vitamin D can come through in, like, you know, milk and milk products. And the problem with that is every mammal weans off of milk at some point when they're like little, right? Except some humans have this weird mutation where they don't get weaned off of milk. You could just keep getting the milk, the protein, the vitamin D, and everything else late in life. Your body just doesn't lose the the digestive enzymes required to digest milk and milk products, and so you do okay. But that's the mutation, right? The normal thing is, much like every other mammal on the planet, you drink some milk when you're little, and then you're done, and then you don't keep it up. And so I find it really bizarre that they call the latter lactose intolerance. It's like you're not intolerant to anything, you're normal to lactose, you're human to lactose. And then some people needed a mutation because they were deprived, they weren't getting enough vitamin D otherwise, right? Just something you had to ingest somehow. Okay, I'm not going to get hit a whole bunch of times with a whole bunch of vulnerability stacks this time around. I don't know how to tell you how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it this time. This time around, I will be better. Cleansing. Oh my. Oh, I didn't like that. I got hit twice by that one. 3 times by the one attack. Oh, okay, I hate it. I'm not learning that particular mechanic very well, am I? If any of you are a fan of Tim Minchin, no, sorry. Well, I totally spaced on a name there. Mitch Hedberg. I mean, Tim Minchin's really cool too. I just don't know why I thought of him just now out of seemingly nowhere. Mitch Hedberg was a fantastic kind of stoner thoughts, shower thoughts, stand-up comedian. He had cripplingly bad social anxiety, so he often wore sunglasses on stage in comedy clubs so that he didn't have to look at people directly, or so people didn't know he wasn't looking at them directly. And he had a line about the idea that some words in default don't make any sense, that the default needs to be flipped. His example was corn on the cob. Like, corn is just on the cob. That is how it is. So why would you ever call it, you know, it should be a corn off the cob. Never. Oh, I think that's it. Oh, there's more. Oh, man. I almost completely fucked that up. But I actually got it. For once, I actually got it. I just have to remember what I did. I think his follow-up, or what made it into a joke, is you cut off my arm and then sew it together and say, now I'm Mitch altogether. Stand here. Is this going to be safe? This is not going to be safe. Poop. That was not safe. This is another one of those fights where being a melee is just kind of like a snore fest. It stands in the middle and it doesn't let you do anything fun. Can't walk up and melee it when you have to try to hide, be safe somewhere. I'm 10 for one more of these. Self totaling 90% of maximum hit points. I don't like that. So it's the blue one. Alright, we're gonna stand here. We're gonna do this right. I still got hit. Damn. I got hit so many more times. It was awful. This thing better die real quick. Because I done goofed a lot. Does this thing let me do a target party member? It does. Okay. Looked like I cast it on myself for a second there. I do have a CE right outside, but it's actually going to be easier, quicker to port back and port there. These fates really go quite fast. Should we pop in and see how Oz and the folks are doing with Baldur's Gate 3? Might be nice to poke in and say hello. Boop, 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 boop. I'm not going to make it to that one in time because I was looking off to the side doing something else. Staring entirely at a different thing. RuneScape? Man, that's one that I never played. Was it any good? This guy's gonna die real fast, real fast. Reminded me of RuneScape. Oh, in this this instance of Final Fantasy. Interesting. I have very limited knowledge of RuneScape. wasn't it essentially free for a lot of the game, and you would only sub to unlock other parts of the game? I feel like it was one of the first games that did that, right? What'd you call that? Like freemium? A model of, we will entice you in by giving you all this good stuff. And then once we have you good and hooked, by the way, the real tasty, the juicy part of this game costs a monthly fee. There are a few games that I've played like that. I generally have a high... Before you saw the machines. I have a high tolerance for games that compel you to buy progress or buy cosmetic unlocks. If I've enjoyed a game for a really long time that's free, several months of gameplay, and I don't feel like it's terrible to spend, I don't know, $5 to $10 or so on like a lot of goodies, I usually won't do it if it's just like to unlock one thing, like one skin. But if it's a reasonable good amount of unlocks, and I've been enjoying the game for free for a while, it's been fun, I might drop some money their direction. RuneScape is like an MMO. How is it different? But yeah, I'll play a game for free for a long period of time without paying if I don't feel that excited about. Or if the stuff that they show you for extra cost really isn't like that captivating. Guild Wars 2, I think, was one of those, if I'm remembering right. God, it's been so long that I'm starting to forget the details. But I remember buying Guild Wars 2, and I think it didn't have you buy it off the shelf. So you have to pay the fee, you have to pay the price to get the game. But then there isn't a monthly charge to play. Oh, I'm not even going to make it to this, am I? I'm so close and so far. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Jeez. Barely made it. All right. This is one of those fights I also don't know terrifically well. Hopefully I can just follow other people. But yeah, Guild Wars 2 had special currencies for special weapons or armor outfits or something. I'm trying to remember just what the heck they thought they could do to like take my money, and I was like, whatever it was, I didn't really... It was a bad cash grab. Or it was good for some people because they kept the game alive for a long time. Might still be going on. We stopped playing Guild Wars 2 even before we finished the first expansion. And I think it's because all of our friends kind of noped out of it. And it felt empty and sad. I mean, even with Oz, because I was playing it with Oz. It's like we at least had each other. But it still felt kind of empty with no one else besides the two of us. The other nice thing about freemium games, though, too, is when you can pay, you do and you get extra perks. And when you can't pay, that's okay. Some of us, our finances aren't completely steady all the time. And so sometimes having something that can flex with your needs is kind of a nice feeling. I don't know what is going off when and why. I'm just wanting to like follow everybody else and try to stand wherever the heck I'm supposed to be. That's safe. I don't know where that is. I think I remember standing here and then you move forward and then you move out. Whoops. Whoop. I moved forward, but I didn't. Then I moved out immediately and screwed that one up. I'm scared to use my Oracle abilities right now. Oh, Instagram. The Instagram feed, once again, like it's done multiple times over, has died at the 1 hour mark when I have a 4 hour key with them. I don't know how it happens. I don't know why it continues to happen. But it continues to happen. I'll stand with everybody else. I see how the mechanic works. The yellow hits the sort of yellow balls, and the green hits the green wind orbs, wind spheres. And so you can't, and then there's a delay. That part's kind of tricky. So you know if an orb just got hit by yellow, it's about to go off. And you know when the green's hit by the green thing, it's about to go off. But how do you know where to... The melee people, they all move out of the way. Oh, maybe there's 0 melee places to stand. Maybe that's part of it. I thought maybe I was getting it wrong, that I wasn't standing in the right spot, but I don't think there is a right spot. This is the one where if you follow everybody else, they walk in this little crescent, and then you back out real fast. There it is. I watch them do it. I have no idea what the floor pattern is. I'm literally just watching other people running around and trying to copy how they move. That's pretty pathetic. Instead of learning how a monster fights, I'm learning player choreography like a dancer. There it is. Oh, our healer's dead. Won't somebody think of our healer? I didn't res our healer. I could have. Oh, that one's long gone. Whoops. Okay. There's the next one. Oh, it's right where I am. When I've finished with Oracle, I won't need to grind for experience for a while, but I will need gold. We'll need a different sort of group setup to make that happen. We're fighting different things besides just the fates. Let's go poke in and see how Oz and her entourage are doing in Baldur's Gate 3. We'll just go to their Discord and bother them.
Hello, Asterion. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Heidi.
Hi. What's good in your Baldur's Hood?
I'm in a cutscene with a vampire trying to eat me.
I can't believe I didn't see it. Bullshit, you didn't see it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
For those of you that are not keenly aware of who we're listening to on the other end, this is the streamer of Oz.
I don't want to drive to the airport. Damn it.
Goes to soup that is too hot. Ooh.
Oh, you're giving me a shot.
Maybe somebody's dick got burnt after spilling hot soup on it.
If soup is too hot, fuck that.
But if the soup gets on their dick, all it does is add hot dick cheese. Ooh.
You would know.
That is not a card. We're not bringing up dick cheese. Bring the next one.
Leave in like 5. Well, I gotta get off Discord in like 5 minutes and get ready to go.
How are you gonna stream if you're driving there?
I'm not
Wow.
streaming. The fuck? I mean, I could stream in the car and you guys would just be looking at darkness and listening to me talk. That doesn't sound very entertaining.
I don't know. It depends. Depends on how you treat the darkness.
I can not see any of this. You have the dreams hidden, by the way.
Oh. So I want to
Don't
say, he's like, please, only a taste, I swear. I'll be well, you'll be fine, and everything can go back to normal. I'm like, I can either say fine, but not a drop more than you need, or all right, but go too far and I'll drive a stake through your chest.
Oh, spicy.
I mean, both are good options. Do you find him attractive?
I find him an arrogant butthole.
Do you want to romance him?
Do you think he
The-
could be
The
redeemable?
curiosity, but not the attraction.
I want to say that even if you choose...
Yeah,
like, I feel like you can always change your mind later on, but I'm not entirely sure.
it just makes it harder later on.
I mean, he
Yeah.
approves of me saying I'm going to stake him if he goes too far.
Oh, there you go.
Alright.
Then again, I'm fairly certain he's a... Who knew?
All right. I'm going to let you figure out what you want to do with the vampire. Goodbye.
Hey, bye!
Love you.
I don't know how Oz got so very loud, but near the end there. Or just tonight. I think sometimes she talks very close to the mic, and sometimes she talks very far from the mic. Hard to tell exactly what's going on there. This fight isn't too terrible, all things considered. Come touch the butt. Got some people here that don't know what they're supposed to do with these seals right now. busy trying to DPS. Oh yeah, we almost found out what happens if you don't close all the seals. That was not fun. Or wouldn't have been fun, I suppose. Better say. I'm gonna get hit by that one because I didn't move fast enough. I think the problem with me playing Oracle as Warrior is it's hard for me to pay attention to another thing while I'm paying attention to all my things. I suppose I could just get used to it. It's like another ability I have to consider how to put in my whole rotation for everything. There's just a skosh of a delay in getting these activated. I think testimony to what kind of a day it is. Oh man, there goes another fireball I could have avoided and definitely did not. Testimony to the type of day it has been, the type of week it has been, is that I'm actually running out of things to say, which is very counterintuitive, counterindicative of my usual self. Usually without fail, I'm almost completely capable of speaking for hours on end with no concern about thinking about the next topic or the next thing that comes out of my mouth. Just like stream of consciousness seems to work pretty well. Or I could blame the topic too. I picked a topic with some things worth saying, but maybe not a full stream's worth of content to speak on. With regards to multi-streaming, I don't feel like a lot of folks would have the negative opinion that maybe it would be interesting to hear. Not Starfall. Anything but that one, please. What's this one? Phantom Judgment? I'll do that one. Did I get one of them off? I got something off. And I do feel like one of the things that maybe works better in my discourses when I plan for it right or when I pick the right topics is that there's some easy to dissent voice. That there's an A or B. Oh, I don't know why I picked that one. That one's going to die before it can even get down there. Pretty sure. Now I'm second guessing myself, but because I second guess myself, it's going to be dead by the time I get there. Oh, even still, it survived. Just a wee bit. Just enough for me to get 3 good hits, which might be enough. Wow, it was. What I should do is find more topics to discuss where the the A and B options or the fork for a question, or maybe just have it be open-ended so it's not so forking just in two different ways, like yes or no, do you agree with this statement kind of thing, is that's it's harder to make a decision on. It's more polarizing. I've thought long and hard about, so I've really been interested in political and hot topic streams. I was a little bit talking about one thing that I said on stream I didn't want to talk about because it's a little bit too new. Then I read some commentary from some other people about what they thought was going on, and I think it was too fresh, and some people didn't like that it was. I was reading like speculations. But I think the thing that holds me back the most from talking about things that are maybe like too political is that I feel like I don't have enough of a grasp of understanding of that world to speak from a place of not education. Well, I don't have the education either, but expertise. I'm too widely diversified, and so I feel like when I get into the weeds in a specific topic, or if I were to talk to somebody who's a little bit more read up on or studied in something, either historically or current events, that I would struggle with trying to find a full picture. I'd end up like maybe even just reading news articles and Wikipedia articles to fill my knowledge gaps, which I don't know. You guys could probably do that in your own spare time. Then sit and watch me do it. But maybe seeing things through my filter might be interesting to do. And having me choose the topics might be worthwhile, even if I'm not necessarily the best being at them. I also think, like, if I do want to become somebody who can talk about things in terms of politics and current events, if I ever want to be that, I don't know that I'm ever going to gain that particular skill set in my spare time because I have so little of that. But developing it out in time spent on stream, as long as I was overt about, hey, this is like me enriching myself. I'm like developing a new skill set. So don't judge me like I'm a master of anything in this space yet. Then I could become that over time. It'd be like playing an RPG. Decide what you want to do, what career you want to go into, and then you build it with skill points. Why are there so many of these eye things all over the place, making it really hard for me to stand there and do damage to the thing? Are we gonna make it to the CE on time? There's so many ways in which this particular little fate, this little guy here, makes you have to stop and start. So I have to keep playing red light, green light with him. Alright. 1 more minute. Can we make it there in 1 minute? We need to go all the way up to that place up there. And then run across as fast as we can. 34 seconds. Might have the time. Right through this corridor. Straight on till morning. 23 seconds, 22 seconds. I want this coffer. It was nothing. That was a waste of my time. I'm pulling it way too close here on these. Getting into these critical engagements. we're here. I like that one. Not sure why it looks like this guy's spinning. Is that really somebody doing the spin? Making him spin? Really shouldn't be so concerned with doing tons of damage as a warrior. We need to let go of the fact that well, as I live and breathe. Hello and welcome, you filthy, degenerate raiders. How are y'all doing? How was Baldur's Gate? Was it bald? That's a weird joke. I'm very low-key and coming to near the end of my energy for the day, even though I didn't move a whole lot. Maybe that's the problem. I didn't move a whole lot. But I had some delicious dinner, so I feel brain charged but not body charged. Body says we're shutting down imminently. So you're coming into that, oh, beautiful raid. I don't have too much longer on my stream, but you're welcome to hang out here as long as you like. We'll find somebody else if you're on Twitch to raid out to and say hi after we're done here. In the meantime, I'm just doing a little bit of trying to dodge AoEs and not doing so. Let's say a little bit of Occult Crescent, but then I took damage for the first time in this fight. It made me have a sad. Should see how much damage that actually does. It lights up so much of my screen, that spell I just cast, that forget to look for the number, the damage number. All right, we've got lots of cross hatches. Stand in the good spot. How is watching Baldur's Gate for those of you that have come in on the raid who weren't already in my stream? Is it an interesting game to watch somebody else play? Or does it play out kind of the same as you, but with, you know, different D&D classes or whatever? Thank you.
Swam right as the mail.
I will partake. I'm just curious how not the replayability is, but the rewatchability. Some games I know you would watch for nostalgia's sake to like reconnect with the story. Like, oh yeah, I missed this story. I played this when I was a kid. Baldur's Gate 3 is so new. Nobody forgot the story per se. So then, why rewatch the story? Cannot put my cup back down. It's getting caught on one of my cables. There we go. one of my black cables, so I couldn't see why I wasn't able to put it down. I will stretch one arm and then I'll stretch the other. I will click my spells like people who click spells, so I can finish the stretch redemption because I'm so dedicated to this. Every playthrough is drastically different story-wise. I never know how the story will land, just what elements will be involved. Interesting. So it's like they give you a bunch of elements and then you interact with them in ways that dramatically change the tale, but you keep going kind of like through the same areas, interact with the same like plot devices or items, but then you have like a bunch of different ways you can interact with them. Is that like kind of close to the mark? I might do one more CE and then call it. This is just a fate, but I feel like the next CE is just one or two fates away. And this guy dies super fast anyway. Like, I know in the tutorial area, Stuart was telling me that I solved like how to free somebody differently than he did. But the mechanism of how to free somebody didn't seem like that big of a variation on story. Just like, well, you know, you're going to free this prisoner every time. So, you know, do you do it this way, that way, or the other way? I feel like Cyberpunk was one of those games where they said, we're going to give you 3 dramatically different starts. And they were right. They did. 3 very dramatically different starts. But you only get maybe 5 or 6 quests in those beginning areas. And then they shoehorn you into the same spot as the other 2. And the entire rest of the game is played the same no matter which of those backgrounds you get. You'll just get, I'd say, maybe a dozen, maybe more, maybe 20 to 24 times in the entire game where your background will also give you a dialogue option. Like your street kid, well, you get to say the street kid thing if you choose in this upcoming, you know, dialogue tree, that kind of thing. It's like didn't really give you a whole lot of choice. How to do combat, there's some pretty good choices in there. But not so much with the main story or the branching of how you'd play it. For example, you and I got Shadowheart out of her cage, but others had her join on later. Oh, this is pretty different. Others find her after they're out of the ship. Interesting. Okay. I guess that is kind of cool. In that case, it does sound like it would be fun to watch somebody stream the game. I wouldn't want to do it right now because I haven't played through more than part of the tutorial, but upon beating the game, I'd be curious how other people do it. I think that mount is a 4-person mount. I kind of want it if it's free. I mean, if it's in the game and not in the store. Gotta head out after this. Anyone specifically want lead? I will ask, since I've been leading this not full group. All right, nobody stands up. That's fine. I will leave and it will It's going to default to somebody. This one is the dragon with the crystals. This one's not too hard. But Sleepy Me might fail anyway. Someone said, much like the Ranger job crystal, let RNG decide. Funny. This one's fairly straightforward until it isn't. Guess that's all of these fights. Wow, a whole bunch of people just stood in that. Just lapped up the lightning like it was nothing. Good for you. Live your best licking lightning dream. The kids have really been into science lately. And that makes them very desirous of watching scientists do scientist things. But we don't know a lot of that kind of content. Oz had the brilliant idea of trying to see if any streaming service had Bill Nye. Unfortunately, I had trouble finding Bill Nye stuff. But it is on YouTube. Which is, you know, it's free with ads. And it's probably not the place it's supposed to be. But some good amount of the episodes are there. It's been really weird to see a show that's so devoted to science and education, though, and so beloved by people. I had no idea, because I don't think I have memories about the show for some reason. It's so bizarre to me to see Disney money just being pumped through this show. And they're able to like bring on cameo people, scientists in various fields, and some actors, and they do parodies of what were contemporary songs, and that's so wild to me. I don't usually think of science shows as something that would have a budget or be supported by Disney. But of course it was. Just, I didn't know. It's been a lot of fun. It's also fun seeing the kids interested in something that's not just like mind rot. Oh, poop. There we go. Not terrible. I thought it was going to be sleepier, but I did pretty well. Pretty much thought I'd be running into everything. Oh, I got another level. It's Phantom Doom. Chance to afflict the target with Doom? Interesting. Okay. We're party. Let's sell this one little thing. And I'm gonna call it. Remind them their book shows them how to make salves and poultices. Oh yeah, they're just as much about the witchery and the green thumbery as they are about the science. So yeah, still very well connected to the earth and plants and all the bugs and creepy crawlies outside. Oz and I are redoubling our efforts to try to get the bat house installed. We talked to a bat expert. I think he gave us some wrong information though. I don't know if he was a bat expert. He was a bat enthusiast, but he enthusiastically said something that all of the research that we did afterwards was telling us something different. To be really nice to get the bat house up and then figure out some more things about what to do with the we have a little garden on the side now that has some vegetables growing and doing remarkably well despite how many bugs and other critters we have in our part of the woods. We had to put some fencing up, mostly just for the deer, because if deer find, succulent little brand new growth like that just set out in plates for them, essentially, those pots are, just begging them to come and eat a small aperitif and then go on their way. So we have to watch out for the deer especially, but everything else seems to be leaving them fairly undisturbed. There's some bugs eating the leaves here and there, but nothing terrible. Yeah, but I think they're growing up pretty well diversified, and especially have their, toes in the grass and feet on the earth, not staring at screens all day, which was probably my biggest setback. I did have outdoor play for a while, but I think there was a point where I went from like being excited to play outside to spending as much time as I could looking at TVs, and then outside time was just like when I couldn't, or for whatever reason. I can't remember if my mom ever kicked me off the TV. And then when I got my first computer, I just stopped watching TV entirely, but it wasn't because I freed myself from the grasp of television. It was just a different addiction. I supplanted it with something else. All right. We are going to call it a night. Thank you all so much for being participant to our conversation and talking a little bit about the actual current events tonight. Something different than I usually do. And sort of addressing the crazy concept that anyone would ever try to put boundaries, or not boundaries are fine, but like barriers, hurdles in the way of being fully multi-streaming, to make it harder, to make it scarier, to make it more nerve-wracking. And no clue if we can do this on the scale that we've been doing this, or in some cases, not me just yet, but other people, it really affects their revenue, which can very much affect their livelihood if they're not careful. So it's just, it's a scary sort of thing. But everything I've read, turning this into a business, they always say diversify as much as possible. Multi-streaming is a part of that solution. And if they take away multi-streaming, you also have to know how to have been diversified in other things as well. I'm looking into some of those too. I'm not ready to announce all of that stuff yet because it's a lot of stuff that's in the works or is waiting for me to find the time to make it in the works. And so it's just, I like to proudly announce when things are ready, then tell you something's going to happen and then have delays or cancellations or whatever. It's always kind of deflating. So better that you don't know. Thanks for stream. You're most welcome. Thanks for being here. All right. If you're watching on Trovo, or sorry, Kick Kick never fixed itself. Trover, YouTube, we're saying goodnight to you now. Instagram died at the 1 hour mark and Kick never started because, I don't know, got a kick in the pants. Not sure why, but you keep lagging on my phone. You keep lagging. I don't know. I don't have anything good. I was going to say something about your face or your mom, but it didn't, nothing really panned out. All right. Love your faces. If you're watching on Twitch, hang tight because we're going to go find somebody to raid out to. Everybody else, if you are safe, fed, and loved, make sure someone out there is too.